You find yourself in a world that is much like later colonial America, and also a world that would be almost of a Victorian era, pretty much the same things that you would find in those worlds, and then you find things that you don't suspect. When you go back and read the history books from 80 years ago, in a time that was known as the Great Woe of Shadows, it actually began when several of the arcane magicians and practitioners of arts, of things that they delved into that they shouldn't have been delving into, black magic, black arts, evil. This corrupted them, corrupted the world they lived in, and brought a wave of devils and demons upon the world to start with. They kept refining, sharpening their powers of skills, till finally every known beast, every known thing that you could come up with in legends and stories and things you would never dream of come up out of that abyss and started wreaking chaos on the world. Finally, the world had enough. An organization was formed by the name of Defenders from Twilight. A lot of the rich families, the rich politicians, government sources, secretive organizations were joined together to form the Defenders from Twilight. Their primary focus was to do anything and everything they could to defend their country against this darkness and this evil that had been taken siege across the lands. So then began the great battles as they trained these fighters to fight against the Great Woe of Shadows. It took about 10 years, as stories will tell you and history will show, it took about 10 years to quell the majority of the evil, to put it back into the abyss where it come from. But as we all know, evil and darkness is never really conquered. Continues to go. It even still grows some. So that's why you as agents of the Defenders of Twilight are called on from time to time to go out and investigate and see fit in any way you find to send the new evil or an old evil that has arisen. You are the defender from the encroaching twilight. Save humanity from the darkness that seeks to escape. Tonight we are playing an adventure called Tears and Golden Light. The basic background is that there's a small village named Worship. It is in the middle of the Angel Flower Woods. It's a quaint, quiet place. Doesn't see many strangers, many travelers that come through here. The village keeps to itself. It's self-sufficient. And as they say, what happens here usually stays here. Until a week ago. A week ago, the grisly remains of the mayor's son was found in the edge of the wood line. Ravaged, brutal murder. They said wolves come out of the him. Then the story began. Rumors that the werewolves were back. Now the village is afraid that the werewolves will continue this murder spree. This is where you come in as an agent of the organization. But better yet, there's also a missing girl that was with the mayor's son. No trace of her was left at the scene. We begin this morning in a city of about 15,000 called Dustendorf, which is about a 2-day journey from Worship. We're going to start with you, Yang, as you're in the city of Dustendorf. Tell me what you're doing in the city this day. Tell me about your character and what he's doing for the organization as he receives a note to make contact with one of the middle contacts of the organization.
So, Sir James Spahn, Agent 0025 of Defender of Twilight, has had a career in archaeology. Sir James has recently retired and taken up babysitting grandchildren as his full-time occupation. and he's in town babysitting because his son happens to live in this town. And as he's cooing the baby, there's a knock in the door, and a courier delivers a letter to Sir Bind. And he says, "Yes, it seems like I'm called back into action." And you see him walk toward one of his rooms and grab his gear and pat the baby on the back and say, "Well, there. It's time for Grandpa to go hunting."
And as we well know, being a monster hunter for the organization, everyone specializes in a certain type of prey. What is your chosen prey?
He is a vampire hunter.
Perfect.
And one of the things that are known about him is that he hates poets, because when he was a young man, a vampire lured away his betrothed with bad poetry. So he has a thing. His pet peeves are poetry, poets, and he also has a strong aversion to literary works featuring romantic vampires or any shades of gray.
Perfect. As the morning progresses, 5 minutes later, we jump over to a character that is being played. Crystal, if you'll tell me what you're doing in the city as you're being notified and who your character is and your chosen prey.
Jennifer Cole sits at a small round table. A small bag of gold is placed in front of her as a lady sits, extending her hands out, waiting for a fortune. Jennifer smiles politely as she lights a few incense and begins to call on the spirits from the other side, allowing herself to drift into a space where she can contact them. She says, "I see something. I see something. A feather. No. I believe this is a petal. Feather or a petal. It's so hard to tell, but it's sitting in the middle of a large green and luscious field. This place is beautiful. It feels so good." "Oh, wait a minute," she says as a look of terror approaches upon her face. "Oh no, this isn't good at all. No. The grass, it withers. Oh, it's so cold. The clouds, they block the sun. It's so dark. What is this?" And her eyes come open and she sees the lady in front of her, reeked with fear that this is her destiny. And Jennifer says, "I apologize." And she gives the bag of gold back to the lady, says, "Do not believe this message was meant for you. I believe that this is a vision of my own." As a small kid enters her shop and hands her a letter from the Defender of Twilight. She hands the kid a silver coin, smiling gently, and says, "If you don't mind, I need to close up shop. I have some business to attend to." And the scene ends as she begins to open the letter, the client leaving behind.
Perfect. And what type of chosen prey is Jennifer?
Jennifer is an incorporeal terror hunter. She hunts ghosts.
Perfect. The clock ticks down 2-3 more minutes as it passes. We jump over to you, Alex. Tell us about your character and what he's doing in the city as he's being notified and what his chosen prey is.
Well, Fenric.
A country gentleman. He prefers to keep to himself, having experienced the touch of the Shadow Wars himself, having lost his family to a pack of werewolves. He nearly abandoned all business and everything together as he became ironclad in his want of destruction of any were creature. The singular purpose nearly drove him mad, but a few people were able to convince him that the communities still needed him and still needed work for them to be at. He is a severely pockmarked gentleman, a survivor of the pox, and also contains several scars from a few fights that he is in. Stories are told about a few close combats that he's been in, where he really likes to get up front and personal with these monsters. He tends to enjoy it much better if he can actually smell them, feel them, before he renders them completely with his two hand axes. Having looked down at the messenger, he takes the note in hand and smirks a bit and feels the spring of youth in his bones again, as he knows that the hunt has been called, and he reaches into his pack and takes out a gorget that has been his faithful companion and places that on him, informs his workers that they should just return to the mills without him, and he will inform them when he is back in town. He then makes way to where the meeting is set. He is a werewolf hunter.
Perfect. The clock ticks 2.5 minutes pass. Then it stops as we go to the last character being played by Daniel. If you can tell us about your character and what does she like to hunt?
So, I'll be playing May Ali. She's currently in the bell tower of the church, skipping school, being 13. She should be studying, but a week ago she awoke to blood on her pillow. She cried blood in a dream, and she knows that that's a portent that things will come that she must be involved in, that she has no desire to be. Ever since the witch tried to take her life 2 years ago, she's become part of almost a mascot to the hunters. Not really a warrior, a child even, but good luck, and often called when mysteries abound, because she seems to stumble into the solution. So she's currently in the bell tower when the priest opens the trap door, hands her the message from the messenger, who of course isn't allowed in there. She waits a bit though, and will probably be the last to arrive, because she feels comfortable in the tower, protected by the giant bell and her silver woolly symbol around her neck. And she is a witch hunter.
Perfect. As you five open up the notes and see the contact is being Garvin Braxton, you would know he's a middle-class agent of the organization. You would know he owns a local business here. It seems to be pretty successful in imports and exports. Very quiet man, about 60 years old. You would also know that when you prepare to go meet him, every agent is issued a special badge that is made from a silver coin. And if you look at the coin and take it out, it has a depiction of a flaming sword. In the background is the encroaching twilight, as a flaming sword stands against it. And you would each know to bring that with you. Some of you may know Garvin from his business, or you may know him from past meetings. That's totally up to you as you make your way to his shop, and it tells you to meet him there in the late afternoon around 4 p.m. There are no details on the note besides urgent mission. Leave as soon as possible. Is anything any of you would like to do before you go to Garvin's business to meet him?
Jennifer will look around her shop. She'll gather a few items she feels are essential, some tea leaves and some tarot cards. She'll take a little bit of belladonna with her, and just her normal kind of stuff, some holy water, holy symbol, that kind of thing, the kind of stuff she usually brings with her when she's called on this kind of mission. And she'll tuck the coin into her pocket before she heads out her store and locks it up.
Perfect. Anyone else?
May is gonna retrieve some holy water from the church as well, and get her. She'll sneak back into her boarding house that she stays. She's a foster child, and get her bag. Not going quickly to the event, so we'll, as I said, probably be the last one there.
Sir Bind goes over to the baby and changes his diaper and says, "Ooh, that's a doozy. There, it's time for you to sleep." And then tucks the baby in.
Perfect.
Fenric on the fire.
He's in for a fight. He'll probably get bloody. Yeah, and after that, he'll head off to Braxton's place.
Perfect. As each of you arrive there in your own due time, even if it's a few minutes early, right on time, or a few minutes late, as May will be. As you go up to the door individually to walk into his main shop, closed sign is on, but there's a young man standing there. Appears to be about 6'2", 6'3", very tall, lanky young man, about 20 years old. And as you approach, he holds up one of the coins, the badges. And when you show yours, he lets you in and escorts you back to a large room in the back of the building. And as finally May is the last one to arrive, the young man brings a pitcher of water, glasses for each of you. And he quietly goes, "I will go and find Mr. Braxton. He will be here soon. Please make yourself comfortable as you can."
Fenric drops his...
I start boiling some water.
Klaus is going to kick his feet up onto the table, and he'll lean back in the chair. He will withdraw a whetstone from his bag and slowly begin to sharpen one of the hand axes.
Perfect.
May is going to go to the darkest corner and with her back to it, and then sit down on the ground.
About 5 minutes will go by as the door opens, and the young man that met you at the front of the business opens the door. Coming in behind him is a very short man, about maybe 5'5", 5'6", but more of a stocky build. As you can tell, he's probably in his mid-60s. His white hair is brushed back, and most of it is receding. But he comes in dressed in a very fine business suit, and he has a folder with him as he goes to the table. He doesn't say anything at first. As he sits down, he opens the folder, and he looks back towards the young man who's still standing there opening the door, and he goes, "Thank you, Richard. That's all I need for now." The young man closes the door, and you can hear a lock mechanism go. "Oh, I see that We have 5 of you that have been called for this mission.
Hold on a second there. And Fenric will pull up his badge and say,
He pulls out a pocket towards you and he says, I guess that will suffice. And as you pick it up, it's identical to the one you have.
alright, well, you never can be too...
I don't know that forest, but here's what I've been informed. You need to travel to the village of worship. Don't know if any of you are familiar with it. It's about a 2-day journey, and it lies in the middle of the Angel Flower Woods. Very small, quaint place. And I believe something would be occurring there that would require the needs and things of the organization. But anyway, we never know where the evils come, do we? But from what I understand, about a week ago, the mayor's son and a young lady from the village were out traveling along the edge of the woods there, or maybe just inside of the woods there, and they did not return. A search party was sent for them, and they found them mutilated, and I've heard it was very awful for the corpse of the mayor's son, blood and things, and it appeared maybe a pack of wolves had come in and then taken the mayor's son, but they continued their search, and they never have found the young lady from the village yet. No sign or trace of maybe what have happened to her, but now the stories are starting that there's a werewolf stalking the village. That is how the organization has been called into this. So your mission, of course, is to locate the source of whatever's causing this, and if it's something that deems the justice from the organization handled as needed, of course, any supplies you need will be provided. You can have horses, or you can use one of the coaches of the company here if you would all like to ride into the coach. Richard will be glad to take you to the village himself. But that's pretty much all we know at this point. If you have any questions too, I can entertain.
How was this young man found? Was he discovered by a villager?
Well, they did not return at the beginning of night, evidently, and the village and the mayor, of course, it being his son, they sent out a search party, and they found, I guess what you would say was left of him in the woods. His body was pretty torn up, my understanding, but they found his body there in the woods.
I'd assumed that the corpse was ravaged by some wild animal. Are we quite certain that they were wolves?
Well, evidently the local doctor there said it was wolves, and now, like I say, the story has come down to that there's a werewolf there. I don't have any more details on who or why they think a werewolf is involved, but the good doctor there that did the autopsy seems to think it was wild animals, and it could be some of the wolves there in the Angel Flower Woods.
Over the years, I've had only once battled a werewolf, and it was my colleague who slayed the wolf. I believe we'll need some silver for this.
He looks towards Klaus, knowing what Klaus's chosen prey is, and he goes, Dear Klaus, would think that, do you have enough silver to share among your party, or should I try to get some more before you leave?
He said, I have enough silver to share. He said, but I'm thinking, if this is of wolves have been scouring the countryside again. But werewolves, that's another thing. Perhaps they're jumping to conclusions. I'd rather check this out myself before, although I would hope it would be a werewolf. It could be something much more natural.
But of course, and that's why that it was sent for you to accompany the party there with your expertise in the lycanthropes.
I will throw my change purse on the table, and that should have enough silver for everyone.
I'll need a few silver bullets.
You hear a quiet voice from the corner. Speak up. And she says, May says, "Was the body buried in consecrated ground?"
He looks towards you, May, and of course he knows more about you than you would think, being who he is in the organization. And my young lady, I don't believe I can answer those questions. There's not enough information was provided to me about how the young man was buried.
She crosses herself.
I have never seen you before. What is your name, young girl?
I am May.
And you'll be joining us on this adventure?
I was told to come. There might be.
The old man turns to Braxton and says, "She seems like she's quite young. Are you certain that you wish her to join us?"
Braxton turns a couple pages in the folder of papers that he has, and Sir James, as you know, you and I are up in age, and we do have wisdom of things that we've seen in this life, but sometimes getting younger blood involved in things, they can see things that you and I will neglect it sometimes, and she was chosen, of course, for her, well, let's say, just she was chosen because of who she is. She will make a fine addition to your party.
I understand that the organization requires someone who is very capable, but she's but a child. He's trying to keep his voice down so that she can't hear.
May just puts her head down. She's not, whether she can hear or not, she's not responding.
If something were to happen to her, then it would weigh greatly on my conscience.
Don't let anything happen to her.
James, I believe each of you will watch over each other, and I foresee all five of you coming back with the solution that should be delved out and what you discover there. And if not, as you know, the organization will provide a recompense to any families that would require it.
I understand. But he turns over to the girl and says, is this your first mission? He's speechless.
I spit out my water. You're 13th, you said. You did say 13th?
Lucky 13.
You say, Garvin, what is this that you're playing at? You bring this young one on, and it's her 13th? You might as well hang a boon around all our necks.
Well, as you know, I'm not the one who always makes the decisions on the team that is chosen. If you don't want to proceed, I'm sure that the organization would understand. As he says that, you would know that if you fail to go on any mission the organization gives you, you would know that they would pretty much shun you from then on and find a way to get you out of the organization.
Are you done chit-chatting now? Clearly she's going.
Drinking some tea. She has tipped her cup over and poured out the remaining bits of her tea on a saucer, and she's looking around the rims of the cup, and she sees on the edge. It looks like a cross, but it's not straight up. It's it's tilted sideways. And it says to her that clearly this town worship, yes, that makes sense, worship. It is in great distress at this moment. And she sees another thing of leaves in a spot. And it looks almost like a sword to her. And she says, "Oh yeah, yes, the murder. Yes, the spirits are clearly attempting to tell me something." But then she sees something else. She sees what looks like a broken heart almost. And she looks and she says, "You said that there was a murder, but is there more? I feel as if something is missing, something is lost. Is there anything like that going on?"
You
Well, there's
hear
a
May.
missing girl.
Yeah, you hear May say from the corner. He said there was a missing girl.
Ah, right. Yes, that must be it then. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why did you put your coin in the water?
Because. So, well, if you're
Yes,
done questioning everyone we're bringing with us, then sure, let's go. Right, she can walk in front, and we'll all stare at her, making sure nothing bad.
Many of my leaves have gathered at the bottom of my cup. This says to me that we will face that the future, our future is yet unclear. We will face something dangerous, very dangerous, and our outcome may determine the fate of this town, or even more.
Sir James walks over to Braxton and tells him that he needs about 5 silver bullets.
Yeah, he sends, when you start getting your gear and things ready to leave, you would see Richard would bring you anything you requested after he finds it there, and he would bring it to you, of course.
Great. He nods and joins the group. Should we take the couch then? Or should we individually take horses?
I will take my own horse, thank you.
I'll also take my own horse. It's been trained to resist foul magic. That's the only horse I'll...
On the horse. That seemed very invigorating.
Yeah, my horse is very invigorating. It'll be great. Or it'll be easy. This is a well-trained horse. He'll pick it up in no time.
It's roughly 4 hours later. It's about 8 p.m. And you can make the decision to leave at first light, or you can leave tonight. You would always know that these type of missions are put post haste because they come in, of course, several days or weeks after the incident happens. But that is totally up to you 5 if you want to leave that night or leave in the morning.
I've had plenty of sleep. I'd say if we want to find this girl who's missing, then we ride tonight. Besides, I think I can sleep in the couch.
Yes, I agree. The quicker we get there, the better.
Very well. If no one has any objections, then we should definitely...
Gets in the coach.
Yeah, as you leave that evening, you were provided a name of the mayor as being Parker Ainsworth, is the mayor of the village of Worship, and his son that was brutally murdered by some unknown whatever is Rainer Ainsworth. And you're to contact Parker when you get to the village. And like I say, it's about a 2-day travel, so sure enough, on the second day, the travel goes as smooth as it can for where you're headed to. And on the end of the second day, it's roughly about 5, 6 p.m., As you pass through the Angel Flower Woods, that you have to follow the road through the middle of these woods to actually get to the village of worship, which lies pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. But as you enter the woods and start to hear these sounds and the noises coming, knowing that dark is encroaching pretty soon, probably an hour after you arrive at worship. As you come into this village, it's nothing that you're probably used to, coming from a population of 15,000. It appears that there may be 15 people that live here, which really is probably more like 40, 50 people that live and work and call this place home. You notice there's a bunch of lanterns, a bunch of torches and things lit along the outside of the buildings as you come in, even though there's still enough dusk left to see. There's no activity on the actual street itself that you can tell.
I will begin to whistle loudly to see if I can raise anybody.
You do, but no one comes out of any of the buildings. No one seems to notice as you come in on horseback and then on the coach. No one comes out of any of the buildings. You see a building down at the other end of close to town, not from where you come, but as you travel on through the street there, the main street, it appears that this one's very well lit on the outside and appears to be very well lit on the inside now, and you hear raucous laughter and noises coming from inside of it.
Yeah, I'll ride down. I'll dismount in front of the raucous, and I'll join the fracas that's going on inside.
Yeah, as you dismount there, as you're leading the way, you notice it's some type of, probably appears to be a tavern or inn. Tell me the name of this tavern or inn. Tell me what kind of sign it has out depicting the name on the outside of it as you arrive there.
It's the Goat's Beard. It has a large white goat's head that is outside. The paint on it is rather worn and doesn't look like it's been attended to lately, as the framing to the sign tends to be falling apart.
Perfect. Did the rest of you dismount and get ready to follow Klaus into the building?
Fenric says now, pull back gently. Not that gently.
May turns and says, the goat, the third witch, are familiar was a goat. The third witch. And she looks very frightened.
Don't worry, it's not that type of goat. More about the eye. I'm looking at the sign right now, and I'm not dead. And right now.
Boss, as you open the door to enter this building, some of the first things that you notice is how well lit it is inside, with lanterns hanging on posts and candles sitting at individual tables. And then you notice how very well crowded it appears to be. You've probably come up on the late evening rush hour for dinner, and maybe some of the local drinkers are here putting away their woes for the day. But there's one thing that you notice even more as you start scanning and step in. No one really pays attention to you as you walk in, but you look towards one table and you see two men sitting there. One of them appears probably to be about, I don't know, probably mid-late 30s if you just had to guess. Very well dressed, almost like Mr. Braxton, wearing a very nice business suit. You can't tell much about his build as he's sitting down. But what catches your eye is the man that's sitting with him. You would know this man, and I will put his name here for you. You notice sitting there with him at this table is a very large man with a very well-kept oiled beard that is black and black flowing hair that comes down almost to his shoulders, to touch his shoulders. But you would notice this immaculate set of chainmail that he is wearing. You notice the shield sitting there next to the table. It shows an armored guy that is holding what appears to be a dead wolf in his hands, and blood is dripping down off of the shield, it appears. You would know this is Sir Randall Wagner. He's an independent lycanthrope hunter that specializes in hunt of werewolves. Tell me how you know him. Will you run into him before? What do you think about him?
I don't think much about him. We've run into each other quite a few times. He seems to, I wouldn't say he's a nemesis. He's more this braggart that I can't tolerate. I think he's a glory hunter. I think he's out to make a name for himself, and more a mercenary than anyone truly dedicated to the art of trying to destroy everyone involved in this war of shadows. I'll come up to him and I'll just go, well, Sir Randall Wagner, as I live and breathe, of course. Why wouldn't I not expect you to be here?
He looks up at you and you see he has a mug that is almost filled. He looks down at his mug, shakes his head as his hair flows. He looks back towards you and he goes, "Oh man, you're always late to the party, aren't you? Don't think your services will be needed here. I guess you're still working for the organization?"
So you've already killed this werewolf, then?
Well, I haven't killed it, but I have tracked it and I have my traps out. It will not be too long before the body I will carry out, just like the one on the shield here.
Yes. Are you sure you're not tracking a hound?
He looks at you with just such disdain and distaste, as he has the same thoughts about you that you do of him. Well, at least I've been here several days trying to help this village. Where have you been?
Helping your village? More like helping yourself to the village. I've come as soon as I could.
At this point, the other man, as you've come closer and you see him sitting there, he appears to be, like I say, about his mid-30s, maybe late 30s. He looks very worried, very creased on his face, and he looks up towards you and he goes, "I have no idea who you are, sir, but we've going through quite a bit here in this village, and I don't know what your relationship is to Sir Wagner here, but there's not going to be any arguments or any negative things said this evening. I happen to be Berg Ainsworth. Who are you?" Does Klaus respond?
Sorry, muted. He says, "You are an Ainsworth? You're related to this deceased child, then?"
This is my nephew.
He was your nephew. I see. Well, I'm Klaus Vandermolen. Said, I happen to hunt things.
That name means nothing. Never heard of your name, of course. I know quite a bit about Sir Randall and his exploits.
Yes, I'm sure you do. So that's okay. I don't tend to go for words. I tend to go for actions. Say, can I buy you a drink?
You can tell by looking now that he has a large glass that you would appear most people would use maybe to drink wine or maybe some type of liquor in, but you notice it's filled with water that is iced down. He goes, "In times like these, I do not partake in these spirits because it mullows the mind and cannot think straight, if you know what I mean."
Yes, I do know what you mean. He said, is your brother around then? I believe his name is?
Parker, yes, my brother, the mayor, and the father of the young man that was brutally murdered. And no, he's under the care of the local doctor. He's at his house and under total sustain of he cannot leave his house. He's in very dire straits and being given proper medicine by the doctor.
So I see. If you would kindly direct me to the house, I won't bother you much here, and I will not put a strain on your brother either. I just want to announce myself to him properly.
Well, you've never announced yourself properly to me besides your name, who I've never heard of. What are you doing here? Who sent you? Who do you work for? Are you another? I mean, excuse me. Are you Sir Randall, an independent consultant, or what?
I would say I'm not really a consultant, more an ancient warrior in this battle that has been going on for some time. People know me as a miller, as a businessman, and then there are others who will fear me. He said, outside of that, I don't care much for others.
As you give your spiel, Sir Randall was taking a big drink from his mug, and he almost spits it out. Ancient. Perfect, old man. That's perfect for you. I love that.
In times like these, it's perhaps the wisdom of the ancient that you need. Or perhaps, are you still shitting yourself?
What are you ever for doing as you maybe catch bits and pieces of this conversation going on?
I'm just watching the room, looking.
Well, it's been a long time, young man. How has the world outside the Order been treating you?
I make plenty of coin to wear this pretty armor, as you see.
I see that you have nabbed a wolf here. Tell us of your progress so far. Maybe we could work together. Yes?
Yeah, meet me here in the morning at daylight. I'll be glad to go over my notes and compare them to yours.
He feels a tap on his arm. And if you were to turn, May looks at him. She says, she's been standing there, but of course nobody notices because she's a child. She says to him, armor can protect your body, but what will protect your soul?
When you touch him and say that to him, it's almost like a cold breeze is blown through. He shivers for just a moment, and he goes, "I'm not sure, young lady. I'm not sure."
Child, you have nothing to worry about. This man has no soul.
Jennifer is sitting, she gets out of her carriage. She wants to try to basically commune with the spirit. She wants to see. She wants to know of this boy's spirit and see the one who was murdered. She wants to see if his soul is at rest or if it still lingers in this world. Whether, she wouldn't know if it was because, he's an angry spirit or if he's a werewolf or something, but she's just trying to see if his soul is actually passed on to the other, to the other side, or if it's still stuck here, basically, for any reason.
You get nothing but total peace and contentment about his soul, that you feel like that whatever's after this life, that he's probably there, and it's a very wonderful thing. You feel total contentment about the young man.
Oh, good. Okay. And when she looks at this one hunter, Does she sense anything like? So I would say, like, let's say he's like, murdered these beasts, or these werewolves. Like, are there any angry spirits around him or anything like that? Like, could she tell, like, like as if he hasn't properly put people to rest?
You get that same chill that he just went through a moment ago as May reached and touched his shoulder. But your chill is, but he's also very good at his job when he wants to be. But you feel nothing but coming from him, but he does it for the money. You don't really get any sense of anything past that on what.
Okay. So knowing that, she'll go up to Sir Randall, and she will say, I'm not sure if this will help in any way, but your nephew, I feel that his spirit has passed on to the other plane. He is in peace now.
Sir Randall Wagner looks at you and he goes, Lady, I have no idea what you're speaking of. I've not lost a nephew. I believe that maybe you are referring to Berg's nephew here, maybe? And he points towards the other guy.
Oh, sorry, that's the name I meant to say. Yeah, sorry. I meant to say Berg, so just pretend she said it to him.
Berg looks up at you and he goes, well, thank you for that. And who may you be? Are you with this group of people?
I am in their company, yes. My name is Jennifer Cole, and sometimes the spirits from beyond, they speak to me and they show me things, and they have showed me that your nephew is in peace. I felt you might want to know.
Well, thank you for that. And I believe listening in on the conversation here, mention of the organization, I guess you five have been sent from the organization to investigate this matter. Is that what I'm gathering, since no one has actually said their piece except words that have been cutting other people, as he looks towards Klaus?
Well, allow us to introduce ourselves. We're from the Defenders of Twilight. My name is Sir James Spahn, Agent 0025, licensed to stake. And he leans over and smiles.
Well, I'm sure that you were informed to speak to my brother, but since he is the mayor, he would be in no physical or mental condition at this point to really speak to anyone. Maybe I could entertain questions.
Yes, perhaps you can guide us. We were sent here to investigate this murder and to find out where the girl has went. If we could get some clues on where to start, that'll provide a great help for the rest of us.
Sir Randall looks up towards you, Sir James, and he goes, I've always somewhat respected you, much more than some others. He looks towards Klaus.
Well, I always thought you were a brave young fellow when we worked together long ago.
I would suggest to start in the woods. I have set traps. Don't let Klaus step in any of them, of course, but there's traps there to catch the wolves or the werewolf itself, if I can locate them. But I could take you to the scene of where the young boy's body was found, if you would like.
That'll be a fine idea. What do you think, my friends? Turns over to the other guys.
Fenric has not gone over there yet, by the way.
A little rivalry that I sense between you and Klaus. It'll be good to have all of us working together. After all, if it is lycanthrope that we're up against, It would behoove us to have two lycanthrope hunters. Yes?
I don't think it would be wise to travel that, man.
Definitely direct us where to start.
Sir? She's looking at Bind. Sir?
Yes, May.
Shouldn't we care more about the girl that's alive?
Yes, but the man says where he has found the body. If the girl has gone missing, and if it's linked to this wolf or a creature that's lurking in the woods, we may find some clues about the whereabouts of the girl.
Can Jennifer reach out to the spirit world and see if this girl's spirit is still like here, or if it's passed on?
Let me see if you can, what you find. You get nothing at all about the young girl as you're maybe concentrating on this while the other conversations are going on. And maybe it's a little strange to you. Maybe you think you should pick up something, but it's just like it's blocked. I mean, you get nothing from it.
Okay, so I'll just stay silent.
We could split up and ask around the town if they know anything more about the girl's whereabouts.
When you say that, Berg Ainsworth looks at you and he goes, "Well, a good place to speak about the girl would be, as you mentioned, her name is Eileen. Eileen, tell us." As we speak of her, she was pretty much an orphan girl. Well, she's not a girl. So, I mean, she's actually 19 years of age now, but she worked for Penelope Penn. Miss Penn owns one of the local shops here. She'd been working for her for quite some time and actually staying with Miss Penn sometimes. I would suggest maybe going to Penelope's shop in the morning, and she could give you some information on the young girl, maybe, and any information that she was a pretty crack girl. I don't know much about her besides her name is Eileen. Tell us.
Is Penelope here? Seems like the whole...
He goes, I don't see her anywhere. She doesn't come here. This is a little bit too excitement for her.
All right, and where is her home?
Even though the streets are well lit, I think it would be best to speak to her in the morning. I don't think we should bother her tonight.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you where she lived.
She just bowed down to them.
Quite.
And you look like a...
Well, they have some standards. They won't hire you.
Say that, it's almost like he completely chokes up as you say that to him, Fenric, and he listens to what Sir James says, and he goes, I will be retiring to my room for the evening. If you would like to go out to the location, I'd be glad to take you there. Be here at daylight. As I said, we can share notes. And you see him start to get up from the table and grab his shield. Since you have wolves and werewolves and who knows what all out there, I'm not going out there, but I'll be glad to, if Sir Randall doesn't take you in the morning, I would be glad to take you out there myself where my nephew was found. I'll be glad to show you Miss Penn's shop, and she's usually there pretty early in the morning herself.
Does Eileen have a family member who lives around here?
No, as I say, Eileen was pretty much an orphan girl. Her parents died at a young age, and she just kind of lived with several of the village members here. But Miss Penn had been watching over her for the last couple of years, I guess.
I would assume that they would be most concerned about her whereabouts and would have us search for her promptly.
Well, so a lot of the local villagers, and of course I've led a group myself now, but a lot of local villagers have scoured and searched the woods the best we can. It's been it's been a week now since my nephew, but anyway, we haven't found anything that would indicate where she could be found. And he starts almost crying at this point.
Jennifer will say, "Do you have any personal belongings of her? Something she maybe kept with her often, a stuffed animal or some kind of jewelry she may have wore often."
As you say that, he goes, "Well, Miss Penn would probably be able to answer that question because, like I say, Miss Penn, she worked for her during the day at Miss Penn's shop, and she stayed with her off and on quite a bit. I would think it'd be best to talk to her about that."
Okay, I'll see her in.
Klaus is doing everything he can to contain himself at this point. He says, you can't see this as an emergency. You have a child that's missing and one that's dead, and yet your werewolf hunter seems to not want to hunt a creature of the night at night and do it from the comfort of his bed, hoping that some stupid animal will wander into his traps. And you don't want us to talk to the very people who might lead us there. Is anybody, and he turns to the rest of the bar, can anyone tell me where the house of Penelope Penn is?
When you yell that out, a lot of people turn and look at you. The first thing, though, is Berg stands up from the table and he goes, "I believe this is the most arrogant group of people I've ever seen in my life. I understand you have a job to do, but you must understand people go through trauma and people go through pain and suffering. There's nothing I can do for my nephew. He was brutally torn apart by some wild animal. We have hunted the woods for the young girl now for almost a week. There's no sign for her. The only hope that we had was Sir Randall in trying to locate the animal or animals that are doing this. And you think by going and speaking to this lady a few hours ahead
what
of
has he
time,
offered you? Nothing. He's offered you nothing. And yet you call our experience arrogance. You're the one who is arrogant.
Well, having an argument out here wouldn't solve any problem. How about this? We go amongst ourselves and start to look for tracks outside. We could reconvene here and talk to the folks in the morning. And do accept my apologies for our arrogance."
Klaus, as you're talking and speaking and almost seem to be getting into an argument with Berg, roll your wisdom, 3d6, and let me know if you get equal to or under your wisdom.
Mine?
No, Klaus.
Yeah, I'm well under it.
How well?
That is, let's see, 7 by 10.
Oh, wow. Great. You can tell that Berg is, he's probably an upper class type person, and the loss of his nephew is all he's concerned about. You get the sense that he really doesn't care about this girl. He keeps saying, she was an orphan. She, lived from home to home. And you can tell that he really has probably no concern for her or where she is now. But they search for her and he doesn't care at all now. So what's not deeming important to him?
Yeah, that's why I'd rather just talk to Penelope right now, because she might be the one person who actually did care for this child and might have some clues as to offer it, because everyone else seems to be very content and sitting around. I will...
Tony? This is a small town, right? So
Yeah, it's about 40 or 50 people here.
I mean, as I start yelling and stuff, May kind of creeps away, and she's just going to walk out in the street and see if she can find a sign for the shop that Penelope owns, because it's not such a big town. Maybe there's a sign.
Yeah, as you walk outside, and all this is culminating to whatever it's going to culminate to, and Klaus is, yelling in the tavern in the inn to try to find someone. You walk outside, May.
Mm-hmm.
You see a man standing there as he's stumbling back up the steps, dressed in old clothing, and he looks up at you and he goes, pretty young girl, what are you doing coming out of that place? And all you smell is the alcohol and the breath and the reaching and retching of the town drunk known as Monroe.
Hey, Tony. I'm looking around.
When he sees me, I'm going to say, I'm staying with my aunt Penelope, and somehow I've lost my way. Could you point out with the house to me? Could you bring me there?
Well, sure, child. And he turns around and steps and falls down the steps into the ground. And he goes, old age. Let me get back up here.
I mean, I'll do my best to help him up. I mean, I'm not tremendously strong, but I'll, in a polite way.
At this point, he notices Fenric standing there, and he goes, is this your friend, young lady?
Yeah, this is my cousin.
Fenric nods and waves.
Monroe, they call me.
James Windwright.
People, but sure, I can take you to Miss Penn's house. Such a lovely lady herself. She's one of the most kind-hearted people in this village. I wish there were more people here like her.
Thank you, sir. Does he have a drink or something with him now?
No, he does not.
Okay. I just smell the alcohol. Okay, that's fine. If he leads me, I say, show the way, please, good sir.
Do you two want to go along with her? Or do you want to go back and get the rest of the group? Or
I'm going to let them argue.
Between Berg and Klaus and the rest of the group, and Sir James, you start getting involved somewhat in calming everything down. But Klaus, you called out for any of the local people, and they all look at you, like, who are you? They have no idea who you are or what you're doing, and they all just go back to their tables and drinking or whatever they're doing, visiting, chatting, drinking, eating. And we'll leave that there for just a moment as we go back outside to the town drunk.
While we're inside, I just want to say Jennifer is kind of sick of this whole thing too, so she wants to step outside for fresh air. Like, I mean, even if they're gone, she's still going to step out there. She's just, like, she doesn't want to be a part of this argument either, like, because, whatever. She's not getting the spirits and all that good stuff.
I actually rode for you, and by the time you get up there, they'll be on down the street. You could see them down there, but it's going to be dark enough you wouldn't know if it was them. But yeah, they'll be gone by the time you walk outside, but you can.
Okay, so I'll go outside, and I guess if I don't know if it's them or not, I'll just sort of, like, if there's a chair or something, maybe I could sit in on the patio and just sort of allow the spirits to sway me and see if anything comes to me at all.
We jump back to Sir James Spahn for just a moment. Sir James, maybe you're starting to feel a little queasy or something at this point. Do you need to take a break?
Yeah, he looks around and realizes that May's gone. Turns over to Klaus and says, Klaus, have you seen May?
He said, no, I was a little preoccupied.
Wasn't the girl with us a little while back?
Yeah, she was. Perhaps I should look out for her. Clearly, this is a town of nothing but sheep and cows, and they'll all be slaughtered anyway. We expect help from them.
Let us stop aggravating the townsfolk and let's look for May first.
We should look for help elsewhere.
Let us look for May first.
Hey, Yang, it's 8 o'clock. Do you need to take your break, though? That's what I was...
Hold on a second. Give me one moment.
Did the vampire hunter take his baby with him?
Their grandchildren.
No, he's basically imagining the sound, and you guys can all hear it.
Wow, that's a really powerful imagination.
That's spirit casting.
Yeah.
Squeaky toy.
Yeah, in about like 10 or 15 minutes or so.
All right, sure, that works then. We'll jump back outside. Jennifer, as you go outside, you probably see some figures walking on down the street, but you don't pay any attention to who it is or what they are. But you see Fenric and May are not standing right outside of the inn.
Okay. Okay. So I'm thinking Jennifer really is concerned about this girl, and having since like no connection with her, she thinks like maybe if she could get a personal item of this girl, like maybe she could get a stronger connection. So she's just going to kind of like in her third mind, just sort of ask the spirits if they can lead her to the house of Penelope and see if she can get anything from them.
It's like that block again. Absolutely nothing that you get as far as any answer.
There's just too much evil in this place, she says to herself.
Sorbine's still thinking about the baby back home, gets out of the bar and looks around for May and discovers that our friend Jennifer is sitting outside. He says, Have you seen May?
She opens her eyes and she says, No, I haven't seen her. By the way, your mother is proud of you.
Yes, I'll bet. Thank you. And then he looks around. And the Fenric is also gone. Have you seen him?
No, they were gone when I came out. I have no idea where they went. I did see some figures down the road. Maybe it could have been them, but I couldn't tell. It's too dark. Those two may have went out for a walk and to clear their minds or something. He seems to have a fondness for that girl.
True enough. I'll bet that they are already on the task. And he goes out onto the street and tries to look for tracks.
Klaus, we jump back inside. You're being left alone with the table with Berg and the surrounding townsfolk, and Berg is just adamant with you that he'll meet you here in the morning and show you where Penelope's shop is, or if Sir Randall doesn't.
He said, "Very well, Berg, if that is what you insist. I don't know if I'll be here in the morning. Perhaps I will. Perhaps I might have already moved on. Perhaps you might be dead by morning. Who knows? Not from me, but by something of your own hand, perhaps."
Well, that is true, and you may be the same way. Go out there in the dark and go out in the woods tonight, and the werewolf will get you next, too.
Yeah, I don't fear the dark. And he walks out of the bar, unhitches his horse, nods to the others, and says, "Where did everyone else go?"
So, James, you're looking around there and seeing what Fenric and Jennifer haven't seen, and you see a bunch of tracks in the street. You have no idea, except what Jennifer saw was some figures going that way down the street, but you actually do not find anything that would lead you to where maybe May and Fenric went.
If Jennifer says that they went down that street, then that's the direction that he's going to start following.
Yeah, as y'all are looking around in that area outside of the deal, and all of you join back up except May and Fenric, we jump back to you, May and Fenric, as the Monroe takes you down the main street, and then he cuts down one of the little side streets, and you see this nice wooden, appears to be a house, but as you get closer, you see the smell of flowers and herbs and different things coming from a garden out front. Then you see a wooden sign up on the front of it, and this is what it will say. as you notice that you have found, and he has actually led you to where he said he was, Penelope's shop of filters. And he says, "Well, Miss Penn, she stays in the shop there in the back also. You know, it's much cost effective just to have one place to stay. But let's go up there and see if we can make contact." And you still notice the lanterns and different things that are lit up the streets and things. And there's two outside the door of her shop as he goes up and rings a little bell.
Oh, hold on, before he does that,
Yeah.
are there any
Way.
He takes it and looks at it and he goes, "I've heard that story before, but I always thought it was just hogwash. Let me go try it out right now." And you see him go back down the stairs, and he almost falls as he goes back down to the street.
Fenric nods very approvingly at May. Or no. Kind
You hear some noise, coming from the back of the place there, and you see this lady walk out, and if you tried to age her, maybe she would be in her mid-30s also, and very handsome woman with very long, flowing, reddish-brown hair that flows down way down her back. And she's pulled like an overcoat type deal on her, a house coat. She comes out, and she's holding a candle, and she's looking there to see you, and Fenric's standing there, and she goes, and she says, she doesn't open the door yet, but she looks, and she says, I'm closed. Be here in the morning, though, if you need something."
We're here to help you.
Don't have any openings right now, if that's what you're looking for, a job.
No, we're looking for Eileen.
When you say that, she drops the candle. It just completely drops and hits the floor. She goes, "Who are you? Who are you? I'm gonna have to. Who are you?"
We work for a higher power.
She's standing at the door, shaking. She has not opened the door yet.
Yeah, I don't make any move to open the door. I'm just looking at her. I say, we need to move quickly. 2 days in the woods, 3 days in the woods, a week in the woods can be very dangerous.
As you say this to her, she looks towards you, Fenric, and she says, "Who are you people?"
We are the light that stands against the darkness.
Protect myself. As she reaches and opens the door, and slowly opens it in.
I enter.
Fen looks around.
And you tell that she's some kind of herbalist and practitioner of things with natural herbs and substances and all that. She says, "I am Penelope Penn, and who are you two?"
I am May.
I am Fenric Fayfo.
Towards you, May, and she says, How do you know Eileen?"
I guess I would know this, right? So do people know about this order, like general people? No, right? Only like mayors and stuff.
They would probably, people would have heard of it. I mean, they probably wouldn't know any details. It's just kind of like, you hear about the FBI or CIA, but you don't know much about it, most people.
So I say, some of us, as my companion said, stand against the darkness. We believe the darkness has taken Eileen, and we intend to get her back.
Well, poor old Parker, he's been beside himself since his son was just shredded to pieces, I guess you could say. I know that's an awful term to use, but his body was just mangled and mutilated by something. But I can tell you what I know. That's all I can do. I don't know if you probably haven't spoken to Parker since he's pretty much bedridden now with he's not in a very good mental state. But have you spoken to his brother Berg?
My other companions are conferring with him currently. They feel a fear of the dark here, which I can understand, but creatures of the dark must be hunted in the dark, so we needed to move forward.
Well, please have a seat. Would you like a cup of tea?
Will you make up stories about the leaves like my other friend?
I will tell you what stories I know about Eileen and what facts I know about this town if you would like to hear some of them. But
I would enjoy it.
the main thing is for us to try to hopefully find Eileen and bring her back, hopefully safely.
Of course. Are you about to brew fresh tea?
Yeah.
Fenric pulls out a silver coin and hands it to her and says, "Can you..."
As the rest of the group is making their way trying to find what has happened to May and Fenric. As you three make your way down the street towards where Jennifer showed you she saw a group of people, you see a man stumbling up the street towards you. It appears he's almost falling over himself. He sees you three and, strangers, more strangers. What are you doing in this town?
Does Sir Vine see him?
Oh yeah, all of you, Sir James and Jennifer and Klaus, all three see him.
Well, we are looking for our companion. A girl named May, about yay high. And our companion Fenric. There's a fella about your age, perhaps a little younger.
Yes, a very nice, well-mannered young girl and her companion. They went to see. I took them down to Miss Penn's house. That's where they? Do you know where Miss Penn lives?
I do not. Perhaps you can lead us out there or point us the way so that we can find it ourselves.
He lets out just exasperation. He goes, "Well, I was headed to get a drink, but
I could make it worth your while. Perhaps a few copper enough for you to buy a drink for yourself."
He spins totally around and starts walking back towards Miss Penn's. Follow, please follow.
Well done. He follows.
Yeah, and he leads y'all three back to Miss Penn's shop there, and he says, "Were your friends or visiting, I guess, with her? Or I think the young girl knew her or something. I don't know. My mind doesn't work all that good. But anyway, I'm sure they'll be there. Just go ring the bell on the door. And you said you had some coppers for me?"
That I do. And then he gives him a couple of copper pieces, for a drink.
He flips them up and catches them in his hand. He goes, the old man still got it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And he turns around and starts almost jogging down the street now.
Sir Vine knocks on the door.
As you knock and ring you three knock and ring the bell there, and you can see actually into the shop there, you see candlelight and probably some lantern light around a little table, and you see your two friends sitting there with the lady that was described, and she looks up and she goes towards you, Fenric and May, and she says, "Do you know those people?"
Yes.
Yes.
Give me a moment, I will go and speak with them. Yes, May and I were just speaking with her.
Well, I think I will have a smoke out here myself. And he begins to pack his pipe. He says, "I'll keep an eye out here in case anything else seems to show up."
I appreciate that.
He'll mount up on his horse and strike a match and start firing up his pipe.
So, James, do you and Jennifer go on into the shop there, follow Fenric on into the shop?
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly offering yet. I just opened the door.
Like, if I could maybe get a possession that that the girl was close to, Penelope. Or not Penelope. What's the girl that's missing? What's her name?
Eileen.
Eileen, yeah.
Eileen, yeah. If I can maybe get a possession that Eileen was close to, I might be able to get a sense of where she's at.
I will endeavor to get one for you then.
I think it's time for 10-minute break, guys.
So James, you were going to be outside also. That sounds good. We'll take a break here then.
Sounds good.
We'll see y'all back shortly.
All right.
Who we got back?
I'm here.
You never go anywhere, do you?
I'm black.
This time I went somewhere, actually. I went to go play with my rabbit.
We'll have to wait on the old man, Sir James. So who's taking bets on Klaus and Randall winding up in a fist fight before the night's over?
I'll bet on that.
You can't bet on that. You're the only person not allowed
The
to.
theory that Randall's actually a were creature. He just shows up at all these hunts all the time, and I'm just waiting to knock him out of commission.
Well, so far, either Randall is a were creature, Eileen is a witch, or James is a vampire. Hunt witches, so.
Okay.
And there's a small chance that May is a ghost.
Sometimes when people are dead, they don't know they are.
Yeah.
So who all is going to Gen Con? Daniel, I know you are. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'll be there. I've been there. I'll be there with the skulls. So we'll be running. We'll be over at the JW. So I think we're in 202 again. In the back, it's a back ballroom.
Where even is this Gen Con?
Pretty close to you, Alex. Relatively speaking.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Aren't you in like North Carolina or something?
I am, but I have no idea where anything on the East Coast is because I'm from the West Coast.
Oh, but it's not on the East Coast. It's in the Midwest.
Yeah, it's the Midwest.
Illinois.
Indiana.
Vienna, rather. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fine destination for road trips.
Let me look at my map of the United States of
Yeah,
America.
It's not super close to you, but it's closer than this to Tony, that's for sure.
Yeah, I guess probably. Well, Crystal be far away from it too, I guess. In a way.
It's about a 5-hour drive for me.
Yeah.
But I guess I'd be the furthest.
Yeah, you'd probably be the furthest, Tony. I mean, you live in Texas, so pretty much everything is the furthest from you.
Exactly.
Everything's in Texas.
You got to drive for days just to get out of Texas.
Okay, it would take me 10 hours to drive there. It's pretty far away.
Yeah, you're closer than me. It's going to take me 12 hours.
So Daniel, it only takes 2 hours for you to drive there?
12 hours.
Oh, 12 hours. I'm like, 2 hours? What?
Yeah, right? I wish it was 2
Yeah.
hours. Although there is PAX Unplugged. It's in Philadelphia. That's not that far away. That's maybe like 3 hours.
I went to PAX Prime once. That was pretty cool.
It's basically like PAX, which is a video game thing mostly, right? But it's all RPGs and all old school RPGs. That's my understanding.
Ooh. And it's in which place?
Philadelphia. That's also close to you.
Where is Philadelphia?
From where you are, pretty close.
No, just where is it?
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Oh, that's not too far.
Jan, are you back to where you can play, or you still need more time?
I can listen and occasionally answer back.
Well,
We can start. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that's fine if you can listen, because we're going to go back into the shop with the May and Fenric are with the ladies, so that'd be fine as long as you can hear the conversation with them. All right, we'll go back in the shop. Fenric, you and May and Miss Penn are at the table, and she says, well, let me tell you about Eileen. Eileen is she's 19 now. She's lived with me the past couple of years and worked with me here at the shop. Her parents died at a very young age, and I guess some of the older townsfolk have just taken her under a wing, and they've kept her through the years. And she's a very smart and very vibrant, very brilliant young lady, really, for what she's went through in this life. But I guess here about I don't know, a couple weeks ago, her and I had a little problem. I caught her stealing some herbs from the shop here. I've always let her use some of her money that she earns if she wants to buy stuff, at a reasonable discount, but she was trying to steal some herbs and different things from the shop here, and she got very upset when I confronted her, but she continued to stay here, but our relationship was pretty strained these past couple of weeks, and then a little over a week ago, I don't know who all knows this, but if you're here to help, you probably need to know everything that I know. Eileen is pregnant. She was seeing the mayor's son, Rainer. I'm pretty sure that he's the father of the child. I don't know. I just don't know him. And most of the things that she lists and tells you are things that are not commonly used unless there are people who are practicing different, maybe magical arts of things.
Fenric is going to look a little bit more serious and say,
these things that have been taken could be used for good things, of course, but I guess they could use it for any manner of things that I don't know. I don't dabble too much into that.
well, let's say you were...
over someone?
I see.
Be very valuable to somebody who is pregnant.
I know the mayor was very upset when he found out that his son had been with Eileen. It did not sit very well with the mayor at all.
Yeah.
I am not surprised.
Did ground and buried.
Yes, the mayor, I guess, of course, when something tragic happens and we lose a loved one, those first day or two is something that you do what you have to do to make it, and then I guess the grief and the struggle starts setting in a few days after that. But he was buried in the family cemetery, the Ainsworth Family Cemetery, just out of town here.
I'm curious to talk to the doctor that invested the autopsy. Not that I know much of these things. I do know that you die in the woods. It's not uncommon for an animal to eat you. So the fact that he was eaten does not mean he was killed by the creature.
Well, that would be our local doctor's, Dr. Van Rittler. Of course, he and I don't very see eye to eye because he believes in medicating people with what I would think would be illegal substances myself, but he thinks the same thing about the natural herbs that I deal in. Just a couple days ago. But please come with me. She leads you back to a very small room, and sure enough, as you go in, it's vibrant with these paintings and these drawings of all these different things of nature and flowers and things. And she says, Eileen had a natural talent of drawing, but let me show you what is so strange. I never saw this before that she had. She goes and she picks up a deal laying on this small bed. And when you take a look at it, it's a very gray, dark gray, blackish doll of about maybe 8 or 10 inches long. No features really to it besides some buttons for eyes, a button for a nose, and a blackened drawing for its mouth. The hair is like a dark grayish, almost mop watery looking dark color. There's no color to this doll at all. She says, I found this in her room. Strange.
I'll take it, look it over, and then hand it to May. But
Either to use on someone, or is someone controlling this young girl? That is the question that you do not know for sure, but you definitely comes to mind that this is some type of object that some type of fae or witch or warlock would use.
yeah, as I hand it to May, then I will raise an eyebrow. He goes.
Penelope has given you. You see this very beautiful young girl that is sitting in this meadow, and sitting next to her is this young man that maybe would appear to be her age or close, 2 or 3 years within her age in this meadow. The next picture you turn, as you turn that picture, maybe just to see what's past it, you see a charcoal grayish outline in dark black pencil of that doll.
Yeah, he looks a little bit alerted, but he tries to hide it, and then
Of course, I know more than a lot of the townspeople. Rainer would go out with her sometimes in the meadows, and they would have their lunch and speak and talk of things that young people do.
I see. Do you mind if I take this to show it to some of my colleagues?
2.
You get a fear of nothing but dread as you actually take possession of this doll and you're holding on or putting it into your backpack or whatever. You just get such a feeling of dread.
Okay. I immediately stop putting it in my backpack, and I put it down on the bed. And I say, is there anything that's missing?
Anything of Eileen's that's missing from this room?
Things with her. I would have thought the sketchbook, if that's what she'd like to do, but perhaps maybe she only took clothing or a bag or some money. So, I guess I'm referring to Penelope. Did she notice anything's missing? Like, obviously missing?
Yeah. When you inquired of that, Miss Penn looks at you and she says, no, there's none of her clothing missing. And, of course, her money was very scarce itself. I mean, she made enough to buy a few things, but, I haven't noticed anything that would be missing that she would have prepared to take with her the last time she was seen, no?
I know that the tea lady probably wants that doll, but I don't want to touch it.
I think the May here understand, and I appreciate the doll was used there.
Yeah, really, by looking at it, you can tell no discerning features that would indicate male or female. It's just so plain and so, it could be either way.
But it doesn't have a dress?
Nope.
Or long hair?
No, the hair is just like a medium type, which, a lot of men that you've seen have wore medium to long length hair. So, there's nothing, any kind of features that would discern either way.
It's hard to say, but I would think that if someone was controlling her, then they would have the doll, right?
Well, sometimes you control somebody. Yeah. As did you say?
It or whatever you want to do. I get a creepy feeling about it myself.
Are there herbs that are used for protection or flowers that we could put with the doll that she knows of?
When you say that, she doesn't answer you at first. She just stands up and starts going and looking through stuff, and you see her get this little pouch of stuff, and she's putting different things in it. She ties it off, and she says, "This is the best I can do to help you." And she hands you this little pouch of herbs and stuff.
Thank you.
Can I get do I recognize any of the herbs? Can I get a rough approximation of how much I think that would cost if I walk out?
And you still carrying the doll, or did you put it in a backpack, or?
Nope, I'm holding it.
You got the fear and the dread earlier from the doll, but there's nothing either way now. It's just you're kind of like Fenric, and is it going to turn into something bite me or not? So I mean, it's just you get nothing new as y'all walk back out onto the porch.
Yeah, like I have the sketchbook, of course, so I will bring it to the group and to Jennifer, and say, "This belonged to Penelope. Perhaps you can speak with the spirits of the tea leaves."
Eileen, you belong to Eileen.
Eileen, sorry. Penelope gave it to us.
The diary you hand to her?
That's right.
Sketchbook, artist sketchbook.
Okay. So, Penelope will say thank you for getting this. I'll see if the spirits can tell me anything. And she'll take the book in her hands, and she sort of closes her eyes for a minute as she kind of like rubs her hands over the front of it. And then she opens her eyes and she starts to kind of flip through the pages. Not really looking necessarily at the pictures, but it's more like she's trying to look past the pictures. It's it's like she's looking at this book, but it almost looks like she's not all there, as she's trying to get a sense of the spirits and trying to see if with this item in hand now, if they can let her know anything, if this connection is strong enough to Eileen to let her know anything about the current situation.
Roll me a d6.
All right. 2.
As you start, going pretty much like Fenric and May did, going from page to page, looking at the different sketches and artwork. You get to that second to last one of her and the young boy sitting in not young boy, but young man sitting in the field. And you look at that, and all you've given up to this point is nothing but a feeling of love and happiness and joy. And you still get that on that picture. Then you flip over to the next page. It has just a plain grayish black pencil drawing of this doll that you now look over and see that it's Fenric is holding. And for just a moment, you get that feel of dread, pretty much like May did, if May shares it with you or if not. But I mean, you still get that little sense of dread. But then you get a sense of joy and happiness and love from this page too, of the whole book.
I sense love and happiness throughout all of these pages, but this one, there's terror, there's fear involved in this page. There's still love and there's still joy, but there's an underlying message here, an underlying tome of fear and emptiness. I can't quite place my hand on it. And does she get a sense at all if Eileen is alive or not?
Nope, you don't get either way on that.
But but I feel still blocked from Eileen herself. May I see the doll?
Absolutely not. We must destroy this immediately.
Powerful connection. I'm willing to take the risk. I understand that something bad could happen, but you must understand that feelings of dread and badness do not necessarily always mean a terrible fate. It could be fear and anxiety in the one who's connected to the object.
I'm quite certain this is a witch's doll used to control people. You may be controlled by a witch and then seek to...
Possible. Right? It seems to be cursed.
I don't know. I'm not sensing curse, but you are the expert witch hunters here. If you do not believe it would be good to touch the doll, then I will concede to your wisdom, and she'll slowly close the book.
What if we fill a tub full of silver coins and then put Jennifer inside of it and then hand her the doll?
Silver coins, a drop of each of our blood, and salt.
I know, of course, that excuse me, Berg had told you if y'all needed a place to stay for the night, you could come back to the Goat's Beard, and they would, of course, furnish rooms for you there. And you can tell that Miss Penn is getting pretty tired herself. I mean, she's spoken with y'all, and you can tell the stress is coming back to her at this point.
I mean, we're outside. She's probably still inside, right?
Oh yeah,
Other option I just considered, perhaps if we were to set this doll down and join hands, we could hold a seance, and any spirit connected to this doll would be able to communicate with us.
It may take 3 steps backwards.
Yeah, Fenric looks like she...
all of y'all are together now on the porch of this shop outside.
James comes in and says, I see that you have found a strange doll. I've came across something like this before. I don't know much about it, but last time I came across it, we burnt it. We set it on the ground and threw fire upon it, and 'twas the way that was done.
I am of a like mind as you.
Whatever we do with this doll quickly and then focus on our mission.
Yeah,
Right.
let's get on with it.
Yeah. So May is going to say, to find the girl is to find the answer.
Mayor himself was not too happy about his son seeing this young lady.
Sir James Spahn, he rubs his chin and looks over to Claus and says, well, if the boy was found all shredded up as if a werewolf had torn him into pieces, and the girl's missing, and if they were lovers, would it be possible that the girl is a werewolf? The culprit behind this murder?
No. I think anyone can shred a body. It doesn't have to be a werewolf. I've seen some pretty demented people do it themselves. So are we burning this poppet, or what are we doing?
Well, we are going to take it.
Blood in this particular ritual. You know how I feel about giving blood. Aye?
Klaus rolls up his sleeve and takes out his axe.
Not here. We must find a bath first.
In then.
We need 1 drop. That is it.
Go back to the Goat's Beard, and most of the crowd is dissipated now. You don't see Berg there, or of course, Klaus. You don't see your best friend. He's never came back either. But as you make your way there to the tavern keeper on duty this evening, after he explained to you who you are and all that, he gives you keys to your rooms upstairs, and you make your way up to do what you're going to do for the night. It's probably by now 11 p.m.
Fantastic. Is there a tub?
Yeah, there's a nice one. Yeah, there's a nice one. These are nice rooms.
Oh. Well, all right then.
Jennifer's got to get naked.
Okay, yeah, Jennifer will do that if she needs to. It's no problem.
Fayrith will convince everyone to count out how much silver they have so no one feels cheated, and then give it all to May. Bloodbath, but yeah.
Okay. She starts counting it.
No, you don't have to count it, child. Just use it.
All right, you get all this set up, and then you do the procession of what you're going to do. What about the doll? Where's the doll?
I am still holding it like arms length out. Grab my so I'm holding it out to her as I'm grabbing my crossbow off my back, and I'm going to load a silver arrow in.
Jennifer wants to hold the notepad open to the page of that doll in one hand, and she'll that drawing pad, and then in the other hand is the hand she'll take the doll in. That way, she has both items in her hand at once.
All right, you do that. As soon as you touch the doll, make me a saving throw, please.
Okay. Let me get my character sheet up again.
Should be 13, I believe.
Yeah, it is. I failed.
How bad?
I rolled a 5.
Take 2 points of corruption. As soon as you touch that doll, you feel nothing but dread and fear, and then you get a quick vision of this girl running through the woods. And for just a moment, you see the face, just that quick enough to know that it's probably Eileen. You see these black shapes prancing and running through the woods that are chasing her. And you can describe how the corruption takes place and whatever happens is, but that's what you get as soon as you touch that doll.
Okay, so she sees Eileen. You said running through the woods with these tentacles, like shadow, chasing her.
Yeah, it's like these black figures that you cannot tell if they're humanoid or if they're animal shaped, but you see like these different black figures that are running and chasing through the woods after her.
All right, so they're chasing after her, and in my vision, it's like I'm there with her. I'm like she's running, and I feel as if I'm floating next to her, almost like as if I were a ghost at this point. And as I turn back and I see these shadowy figures, it's like one of them just reaches out and consumes me. And I have my eyes closed, and this happens, and this look of terror on my face, as cold sweat begins to pour down my face, and my eyes pop open at this vision. And did I get a sense at all if Jennifer was alive, or is this just some kind of vision of like evil and such?
You would think from the quick vision that you had at that point that you can't place a time frame on it, but whenever at that point that she was definitely alive.
Okay, so I open my mouth and it's like I'm trying to grasp to find words, and finally I say, she wasn't alive. There are forces, they were after her. Dark forces, evil forces, shadows of the forest seeking to snare her. take her, but I don't know why.
Gotta step out of it.
Calm down. Let her... We don't want to break her out too early. As long as that thing stays above the water level.
If I can feel anything else about her spirit, or is this just all I can get from it?
At this point, that's all you get.
Okay.
Because of your failed saving throw. I mean, it's now that you're. It's kind of like, you touch something yucky. You don't want to touch it again. I mean, at this point, you just feel yucky.
Okay. So she'll like I'm guessing the group's kind of standing away. So she'll kind of like toss the doll like out away from herself and from the group. Like just kind of across the room or whatever. Just trying to get rid of it, basically, not letting it hit the water or anything.
I shoot it anyways.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. So, and then, she's just, and then she'll put the notepad down softly and, she'll just grab her head and, she's just trying to clear her mind.
Are you all right, lassie?
I'll be okay. Just evil. Just dark evil. And it was after her. Maybe it's still after her. I think this is why I can't get any connection to her. This thick evil. It chases after her. Maybe it already surrounds her.
Now come down and tell us what it looked like.
I don't know. It didn't have form. It was only a vision. It was just black shadow. It consumed me, and I believe it may have consumed her, but I can't be sure.
Can you tell us where you are?
Well, she was definitely in a forest of some kind, but where, I don't know. It's definitely nowhere I've ever actually been.
May is gonna get a towel and like come to her at this point, and she's just being like interviewed while she's in this tub all freaked out, and then she's gonna say, give her some space.
And also to jump back, Fenric, just to make sure I understood clearly, did you say you discharged your black powder pistol at that doll?
Oh, no, not my pistol. I grabbed my cross now that I feel confident that Jennifer's probably fine.
To someplace outside.
So I'm gonna, help Jennifer get like out of the tub and dry it off, whatever, so she can.
What about Klaus? Klaus, are you going outside with Sir James and them?
Yeah, I'll move out too.
Yeah, you three move out, and if you want to burn the doll, nothing happens. I mean, you can light it up, and it just slowly burns up to ashes.
Before they do burn the doll, Jennifer would like to take her silver cross. She has a silver holy symbol. She'd like to take that and say a prayer and just kind of like touch it to the doll. Just, I guess, trying to purify it or whatever, But then she doesn't care.
Yeah, Fenric doesn't let her do that.
Jennifer, if he tries to stop you?
Oh, no, if he tries to stop me, I won't. I'll just say the prayer and hold my holy symbol.
I mean, it's also,
also to come back to the question Sir James would ask you, Jennifer, about, if you could tell if it was day or night or whatever. Everything was so dark. I mean, you just saw the vision and the outline of the vibrant young lady as she was running through the woods, but everything else was just darkness. I mean, it would be probably hard to tell. There was just so much darkness there.
Lassie, did you see a full moon when you looked up the sky?
It was just darkness. I don't know if there was a sky. I don't know if what I saw was even literal. It was a vision. I saw her, the vibrant girl, and darkness chasing after her. Nothing else. Nothing about the vision indicates that it was necessarily literal. My visions are very rarely literal.
I'm gonna go to the sketch pad and open it up to the page where the weird drawing was. Is it still the same?
The drawing of the doll?
Yep.
Yeah, it's still there.
After it's been burnt. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, it's still in the sketch pad. Nothing's changed on that page.
Okay. I'm actually going to, while they're all doing what they're doing, I'm going to actually just take some holy water and just pour it on the picture and close the book back up.
Yeah, if you pour water on just that page and something, of course, you know, it wrinkles up enough and gets kind of smeared and stained from, you know, you pouring the water on it.
I just close it again. And then I go to bed.
Yeah, because by now it's probably roughly midnight or so.
Yeah.
Sir Bine stays up a couple of hours just to keep an eye on the outside.
Yeah, I'll keep company with you.
While Jennifer sleeps, could there be any spirits? Like maybe even if a spirit wanted to deliver a message to one of the party members, like the party has talked about personal stuff. Like Jennifer is going to keep herself open if spirits want to come and talk to her. So whether it's regarding this case or like one of the party members.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. As far as getting any spirits or any information related to this during the night, you get nothing.
Okay. I'm going to roll and see if I get a spirit that might want to talk to one of the party members. Or have me deliver a message.
All right.
Oh, I got a 1.
Take it away.
Let me think on it for a minute. Let's go to the next morning scene. Let me think on it.
Yeah, we'll start then. That'll be fine. As next morning, as you 5 group together downstairs, of course, Klaus, you're looking for your best friend so you can eat breakfast with them. But Sir Randall is not there, as he said he would be at daylight or just after. But of course, you see the uncle of the deceased boy. You see Berg sitting at a table, and he motions for you 5 to come over.
I'll go over there directly.
Yeah, me too.
I go over there and continue to just scan the room as if I'm still expecting something to jump out.
Crowd down here this morning, and nothing like it was yesterday evening. You walk over, and Klaus says, as soon as he steps up and he puts his hand out to shake it, he goes, "I'm sorry if I was a little rude with you last night. You have to understand, losing a nephew, and my brother is not well. He's not well at all, but I apologize."
And he will take his hand and shake it firmly and said, "And I apologize if I was rude too. Perhaps the lateness of the hour and my weariness from travel got the best of me."
Well, between your weariness of travel and the task that you have at hand and things I'm going through, it's definitely understandable. But let's enjoy breakfast. And I don't know if I can go after where Rainer was killed again. I'll take you there, but I don't know if I can hang around that place much anymore. But I'll be glad to take you and show you.
Well, you don't need to stay. You can take us there.
James pats him on the back and says, "Aye, lad. I understand it is very important to grieve your losses. But perhaps by doing so, by taking us out there, it'll help us avenge the loss of your nephew."
Yes, let's get a good breakfast down us and start out the day. And if you have any questions this morning, I will be glad to do the best I can to answer them if there's any things that would aid you in your investigation.
When Jennifer comes downstairs, she seems to sort of be out of it as usual. I mean, she sort of seems kind of out of it. But she seems a little bit more kind of here today than maybe normally. Is Fenric sitting by himself as usual?
He's never sitting by himself. He's standing.
Okay. She's gonna take a seat. Sort of like, I mean, she's not necessarily trying to avoid any of the party members, but she's not necessarily sitting with the party when she sits down to like get her breakfast and everything. And she'll look at Fenric and she'll kind of motion for him to come to her.
He'll take one more scan around the room. Fenric pulls out a cup and drops a silver coin in it and says, "That would be lovely."
And attempting to be rude. Sometimes the spirits, they come to me, they tell me things they want people to know. So I hope this doesn't open up any scars, but Jenny asked me to tell you it's not your fault. She says she doesn't blame you. She also says to look under the old willow tree where you two first met. She says there's something there she wants you to have.
Fenric nods and says,
But after giving me this message to give you, her spirit went to rest on the other side.
Fenric looks serious and a little bit. He looks.
She was away, but she was not ready to fully move on. She wanted to let you know that it wasn't your fault. She doesn't blame you. But when I told her that I would give you the message, she then was fully ready to move on.
Fenric nods and says, "I see." And he drinks the tea. And he takes the cup and he says,
He's not doing well. He's under such mental and physical stress from losing his son. And when they brought his son's body back, my nephew brought his body back to the village after finding it. I tried to get him not to look at it, but he did. It was torn up, mutilated, and just horrible condition. That has set him off into, well, our good doctor, Van Rittler, is doing what he can to take care and ease his suffering.
Oh, Van Rittler, you said. So is he at the house right now?
You mean my brother or the good doctor?
The good doctor.
Well, I don't know if the good doctor. I haven't seen him. I guess a couple of days. He stays busy between trying to medicate help my brother, and he has a lot of out of town visits he makes too.
I pull a large flask out of my boot and I tipple a little bit and hand it to him. Said, "Takes care of the worms. Why don't you have a shot?"
Well, like I say, remember, I can't partake of the spirits with all this going on. I have to keep my mind clean, and I'm pretty much running the town right now until my brother regains back to himself.
I see. So, is your brother's house on the way out to this woods where you found the body?
No, it would be. We'd have to go the other direction, but I would need to get you out there and show you the location of where they found Rainer first. I've got quite a bit of business to do myself today.
That's fine. I'm all for that.
Jennifer, hearing about the mayor and like getting this just kind of weird vibe from this guy talking about his brother and stuff, and his brother apparently looks out of it. Jennifer wants to, as she's sitting there, kind of stirring her tea, she wants to reach out and to the spirit realm, and she wants to see if she can feel the spirit of the mayor and feel if I guess if he's actually around, because she almost suspects that that could not be the case. But if he is, just what state his spirit is in.
You do that, and very quickly, while the conversation is coming to the end between Klaus and Bird, you get the sense of a man who is in terrible, terrible health right now, both mentally and physically. And you definitely gather that whatever Berg is saying about his brother is probably completely true.
Jennifer sits there and she sways back and forth, and as she feels this cold emptiness and dread, just a solid tear runs down her cheek.
Perfect. Anyone else have questions for Mr. Ainsworth?
No, but while that's going on, May's going to go back to see Penelope.
All right. Anyone want to go with her, or would you tell anyone you're going there, or are you just going to excuse
I'll just get up and leave.
Okay.
Like I usually do.
I mean, if Fenric notices her leaving, he's going to follow her out.
Notice her leaving, I'm sure. I mean, there's not a big enough crowd to divert your attention this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't try to be stealthy. I just get up and leave, and people don't pay attention because I'm a kid. So yeah, I walk down to Penelope's house, and if Fenric catches me before we get there.
Yeah, Fenric catches up with you, I'm sure, by the time you get to her house and shop.
So I say, I suspect that the mayor is being poisoned.
I suspect all sorts of things.
An elixir that could either drain his stomach or help him. So that's why I'm visiting her this morning. And I knock on the door when we get there.
Yeah, and actually, when you get to the door this morning, you actually see a hand-painted wooden sign that has been turned. It says open. As you can tell, the shop is open already this morning.
Oh, very nice. Okay, then I go in.
You enter, and you see a little small lady, probably appears to be in her 60s, that is closing up a bag of stuff. And, well, thank you, Penelope. I'll see you in a day or two. And she turns around and walks out past you, and she nods towards you and Fenric both as she leaves. And Penelope says, well, good morning. How are you two?
Good morning. I nod at the old lady as she's leaving. I look around. We're alone, right?
Yeah, you see no one or hear no one else besides you two and Penelope.
I suspect that an important person is being poisoned slowly, as to make it seem natural. And I intend to help this person. And what I'm going to do is, as I'm saying that, if there's like a piece of paper or something, I'm going to write the mayor on it. Just in case it's obvious enough to me. Sure.
Yeah, if you do that and you show her the piece of paper, she looks back up at you. She goes, I'm afraid the only, well, dear child, there's no one else in here, so we can speak freely. I fear the only poisoning. Well, I fear the only poisoning going on with the mayor would be the good doctor and his medicinal ways that he learned at medical school. As I told you yesterday, I do not believe in some of the elixirs and some of the things they put in your veins. I don't follow that path. I believe in more of a holistic herbal healing.
How can we expel such things?
You could fix some herbal tea. That I can give you some things to make tea that would help reduce the effects of some of this medicine. But the last time I spoke to Parker after this terrible incident, well, it was about day 3, I guess, and they had just buried his son, and he looked awful. I don't know. I tried to offer to make him some tea and give him some things, but he believes the good doctor's ways are much better than mine.
I understand. I'd like to try. And we can pay, of course.
Well, sure. I can get you a bag of stuff here, and all I can say is good luck. I hope you have better luck than I did with this. And she does. She'll fix you up a bag of herbs and ties it up and gives it to you another gold piece.
Then I also say to her, is there something that would make someone, let's say they're having trouble expelling things from their body, like I look around, is there something that will make somebody have to go really bad?
A natural laxative type thing. Yes, there is. Just a moment.
Like some of that as well.
She goes over and gets you. It's a little jar of this black-looking, just almost tar-looking stuff, and she says, "It doesn't take much. Just you're gonna have to stir it in some hot tea, though, or hot drink, because it will dissolve in that. But don't give more than a teaspoon."
Thank you. All right. So I take my X-Lax and my herbal cleanser.
Henrik, anything you want to do with Penelope there?
No, he's mostly just there to make sure that nothing.
Town business.
While May and Fenric are away at the shop, Jennifer would like to have talked to, I guess it's Berg, the mayor's brother or whatever. She wants to know if he delivered the message about if he told his brother that his son's spirit is at rest and it's on the other side.
Yes, I'll do that this morning after I get back. I didn't. It was late last night. I didn't see him last night, but I'll go check in with him this morning and be sure and pass that on.
And she says, if you need to, I wouldn't mind going with you. And, telling him myself.
Well, that's fine, but like I say, I've got to get out there and show you. I've got town business to do. The hour's getting late, but sure, I can come find you later if you'd like to go visit.
Yes, that would be lovely. Thank you.
If no one has anything else, I guess we can proceed. This Berg would take you out to the location of where this incident happened, unless anybody has anything else to add.
Nope. Just going to take my horse with me.
Yeah, you would need to take a horse because you see Berg actually. He would ride a horse up there himself, and it's roughly a 15-minute to get out to the edge of the woods. You go to the edge of the woods, and it goes on further into the woods there. And he says, "Well, there's enough trail we can ride right up here." And you come to this small clearing off the roadway there, but you've probably ridden another 5 minutes into the woods themselves, and very tall forested area, but I mean it's not much undergrowth here. And
sorry, I just wanted to quickly say, Jennifer wants to, if she can, kind of get near Fenric and I guess May, and she wants to basically tell them that she doesn't trust this guy and that basically say we should hang back and let them go forward a little bit, ahead of us. That way, if something happens, we'll be back away from them because I don't trust him. There's something not right with his spirit.
Well, that's all I need to make my.
Will probably enjoy sitting here and visiting or talking. And he dismounts from his horse. He walks over to a spot. And as you approach the spot, you can see still the dark soil, the dark earth. It appears probably there was blood here from the body of the young man. He says, "This is the spot," and he turns and looks the other way, though.
James immediately looks around and tries to spot any animal prints or creature tracks leading out.
I Man, all you find is a bunch of squirrel and raccoon tracks.
I'm gonna look up at the tree.
As soon as you do, you see a bird sitting up on a branch. As it flies off, bird poop falls and lands on your shoulder.
I shoot the bird.
With a crossbow?
Yep, absolutely. 30 feet. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go grab the bird and inspect it and to see if I think it was controlled by witches. Which is my first assumption.
Trees that you just killed.
I'm never confident of that. I am suspicious that I might have been incorrect to be suspicious.
Jennifer does get to this area where the blood is spilled. She would like to close her eyes and begin to attempt to contact the spirit world, and she wants to see if there are any spirits or anything that can tell her about this area.
You know, you start beginning as all this is going on. You see Berg mount back up on his horse, and he says, I've got to return to the village. I have matters, but yes, young lady, come see me later, and I will go visit my brother. But I've got to go, and he just starts galloping off back towards the village. But yes, Jennifer, you're starting to do your little thing, and nothing at all at this point.
Who has the notebook? I want to look at the notebook and see if in the pictures.
That are probably here, just not the depth and degree of them in this open meadow that the drawing was made in.
So I don't think that the picture. I believe that there might be a place. Like, do I believe that this painting might be of a real place? By looking at the.
You must be the lucky person tonight. Guessing some not very good successes, but you turn and you look back where the wood line goes back into the woods there, and where it turns from this little opening into maybe more dense woods itself. And you look and you see what is in that picture that I have there. You see this white wolf that is standing there on a trail, and it's looking right straight at you, Jennifer. It's just standing there, not in an aggressive manner, not in just standing there looking at you. This solid white wolf.
Okay, so Jennifer is swaying, and she feels like she has no connection to the spirits at all as she sits there and sways. But all of a sudden, like in her head, there's just this massive whispering of whispering as if it were all around her. And she turns, trying to figure out where all the whispering is coming from. And she sees this wolf. And she looks at it. And let's see. She doesn't want to alert everyone, but she feels in herself that the spirits have led her to see this. And she slowly places her hand on the hilt of her pistol. She's not going to pull it yet, but she's kind of just watching this wolf. She wants to see what it does.
Have you pointed the wolf out to the rest of the party at this point or not?
Not yet, because I'm pretty sure that the rest of the party will instantly kill it. And I don't want to kill like an innocent creature, so
yeah, that's great.
Some people.
That's great, because as you do that and maybe start getting a little nervous, maybe defensive, as you say, you look back towards the wolf, and as you look towards its eyes and its features, you feel a sense of good. You feel a sense of this wolf looks at you in almost a submissive type way, as a pet would. And you see it turn to go back towards this trail, and you see that it almost moves its head like it wants you to follow it.
Jennifer will kind of put her hands up in the air a little bit and sway as she's letting the spirits lead her, and then she will let's see. Yeah, she's not gonna let anyone know. She's just gonna start following the wolf.
I mean, I'm specifically constantly looking around and paranoid.
She's walking towards, and it appears that she's going to go further in the forest.
I'm going to slip a piece of silver in my
Off of her, just kind of brush it away as if she were brushing away a mosquito or something, and she'll continue to walk.
Fenric, as you do so, and you're the closest to her, you immediately pick up on the trail of seeing of where she's going to, and you look down enough to see, and you start to get that feeling of there's been a fey creature down this trail.
All right. Do I see the wolf?
No, at this point you don't. I mean, you're staying kind of behind her enough that she's Jennifer. She's blocking the view, but no, you don't see the wolf. But you get that sense that this trail has recently been used by some type of fey.
I'm going to alert May.
And as you did, May, and walked up there, you did not get that sense. So maybe you were looking off in the trees for another bird or whatever. But yeah, you didn't see that at first until Fenric points it out to you.
Yeah, basically, I'm just going to point it out to her and say, "Is that?"
Yeah, by now he is long gone. You see that he rode back completely the way you come from. That he rode back as fast as he could back towards the village, as far as you know.
Okay.
James is concerned that Jennifer has wandered off in one direction and he follows. So he joins the rest of the group there.
Yeah, as you eventually all move up to where Jennifer and Fenric and May are. Jennifer, you look, of course, you're the only one that's seen the wolf, and you've not shared it with the rest of them, but you look down further down the trail enough that you see the whiteness outline of it, and you see its head turned towards you again with that look of, innocence, that look of submission. Is it still motions as it turns to go back down the trails? Is it motions for you to follow it?
And Jennifer still believes that this is the spirits guiding her, maybe guiding this wolf, she hopes maybe to the girl, but she believes it's just something important. So she'll continue to walk and, just kind of in a daze.
You still don't mention the wolf to any of them at this point?
No, because she's afraid. Like in her head, this wolf is like from the spirits. So like she's afraid that if she told them that they would just kill it, and so yeah, she's not gonna tell them. I mean, it's like if it is something bad, then they're with her anyway, so maybe they'll be able to help. But if it's something good, she doesn't want it dead.
Right.
Okay. Does it appear that she is going in the direction that the fey creature is going?
She is definitely going down this trail.
I know that in this direction there is a fey creature. I know that in this direction there is a fey creature, and that Jennifer did not. I put person would if someone.
Hands off of her shoulders, as if she were kind of brushing away a mosquito or something.
Yeah, I'm putting my hands down hard enough that you're not going to brush them away. Then.
Hey, just trust and follow. Just trust and follow.
Is James looking at this happening?
He's going to say...
I own a shop in whatever that city was we began in. I'm fully aware of my actions at this moment. I am following a lead given by the spirits. Please just trust me. If it turns out I'm lying, you can always shoot me in the head.
Oh, jeez. That's gross. I'm following. I'm down.
Yeah, well, now that she's actually
James, you and Klaus. Sir James, you and Klaus, y'all are up there with seeing all this going on, and you see Jennifer, leading the way down this trail. I guess, do y'all want to follow up the rear with him?
Yeah, when I say that to everyone. Everyone knows.
You gotta be blind first.
Yeah, blindfolded.
Yeah.
Like a firing line. All right, so yeah, but I am going to pull out this pistol, which is probably a little weird that I have a gun, but I do.
All right, we're going to say Jennifer, Fenric, May, James, and Klaus in order going down this trail roughly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna pull out my shield and my pistol. I'm
Jennifer,
ready to get ambushed.
After being stopped for just a moment, just mere seconds really by Fenric and explaining to him who you are and where you come from, what you do, you turn back and look, and you see that wolf again looking at you like it had stopped for you, and it's still turning its head like, are you coming or not? And it starts to turn back, go down the trail again.
She gives it a smile, and she will continue to follow it.
You follow it, and it stays within visual of you, what you think was in visual of you, but probably a good 30 feet ahead of you, and you follow this trail. Y'all follow it for maybe 5 minutes, and the forest starts getting thicker and denser, and it's almost like it's mid-morning. I mean, the sun's up and stuff, but it seems like things are getting darker. And I mean, it's the dense overgrowth and stuff is just making everything dark here as you follow this trail. Jennifer, you get up there and you see the wolf stop with this sad look in his eye, and it hangs its head down, and it motions its head on further in front of it, and then you see it kind of run off into the woods there. And you lose vision of the creature, of the wolf.
Jennifer
scampers off. Do I hear it?
No one else in the party has seen or heard this wolf besides Jennifer.
Jennifer says, "We're almost there. It's just a little further. Everyone be on your guard." She'll actually turn around and say to the party, "Everyone be on your guard." And she will, she'll grab in one of, she'll grab the hilt of her pistol, and she'll actually pull her pistol out as she's now walking towards where the wolf motioned to go to.
Yeah, and you do, and at that point you hear the voice coming, not from any of your party members, but on up the direction as you're going that way. You hear a female voice that seems to be talking. And May, you and Fenric both roll me a d6. Let me know if you get a 1 or 2.
Oh, I got a 1.
I also got a 1.
Oh, I don't know.
Same time, then, as you walk up a little bit closer, you start hearing this female voice. And you hear it speaking in words that are not just normal speech, everyday speech. You start hearing like chanting and some words that are coming off of something that would definitely indicate to you it's coming from some type of possible fey creature.
All right. I'm going to pull out my silver rosary beads and have them in my hand.
Yeah, I
start to pray.
Silver holy symbol in her free hand, and will begin to pray herself. And she'll actually allow Fenric to take the lead if he wants to.
I mean, if you gesture to that end, he will definitely.
Should something happen and if you should die, allow me to take the lead. Taps him on the shoulder.
I mean, no disrespect to you, old man, but I'm not.
Wait, or not? That's up to them, I guess.
Do the rest of y'all want to stay, 5 foot behind them, or do you want to stay more, or how do y'all want to, the other three?
I'll be third in line, and I guess I'll let them go about 10, 15 feet out ahead. I'll let them go first because they're the Fae experts, and they seem to strongly believe that there are Fae here. And I've already followed the wolf, and the wolf seems sad, so that gives me some indication that there is something dangerous around here. So yeah, I'll be third if I can stay about 10 or 15 feet behind and be third.
10. We'll say 10 feet would be fine. And as you're doing that and getting ready for that, as May and Fenric continue forward, Jennifer, you're looking around to see if you see the wolf again, but you don't. You see kind of a little small trail that run off into the woods there, but you don't sense it or see it at this point. We go back to May. We go back to Fenric as you two move and follow this trail enough, and you come out and there's a little opening again in the middle of this dense deal, but it's still dark. You would think maybe the sunlight would permeate and come into this opening, but it's not dark enough that you can't see with normal light, but I mean, it's a very dark area. This is what you see. You see kind of a wooden table, maybe a wooden handmade out of the forest trees of a table laying set up. You see a beautiful young lady that's on this table.
On the table or at the table?
She is laying on top of the table.
Okay.
And she is covered in sweat and covered in just, and she's, panting like she's been running or exercising or something. But
or you notice her give birth,
talking and saying these words and stuff to her. You see a very beautiful woman that appears to be in her mid-30s. She's sitting there with this long, reddish, golden-looking hair, but it just is almost a golden light that is flowing through this hair. And as she turns to look towards you, this beautiful face,
I shoot her.
She smiles at you. You begin to pull your trigger. Both of you two need to make a saving throw as you pull your trigger.
I was going to wait for you to describe it, but I realized you were going to do something, and yeah, the second I was going to say, damn, I missed it by 1. But if I get a +2, then I made it.
You're thinking, why am I fixing to shoot my...
I rolled an 11. I rolled 11 on the die.
As you pull the trigger, you see her flinch back very quickly as your shot just hits her in the shoulder, and you can roll your damage.
Okay.
But also roll me a d10.
And you can also add 2 to your damage because it's your chosen prey.
Yep, unless you roll a 1 on your d10.
I will roll my d10 first then. I will roll 6.
Drool running down her mouth and her eyes as that shot hits her.
And then I will yell, Hag! Hag's sitting at the table. Don't hurt the girl.
Everybody, as the others approach and you hear the shot go off, let's just go in straight initiative. Be a straight D12, no modifiers for anybody.
5.
11, which is really bad, I think.
Yes, it is.
No,
the pistol's 1d6. The rifle or black powder musket's 1d6 plus 1. Pistol's 1d6.
We're rolling 1d12?
Yep, just 1d12 for initiative. What did you get?
6.
All right. What about you, Mike?
8.
Crystal, or Jennifer, excuse me, start us out as you come and see what has just transpired. And y'all 3 still see, or you 4 except Fenric, still see this beautiful middle-aged woman standing there. And then, of course, you see what was described of this young lady that's on the table that appears to be either beginning or going through childbirth.
Okay, so the hag is at the table, right?
This beautiful young woman is standing at the table.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I saw my friend shoot her, so I'm gonna go that his judgment is actually good here, and I am going to shoot at her as well. I mean, it makes sense. Like, if I know anything about Fae, then I should know that they can disguise themselves, I guess. And since my friend, who's a Fae expert, shot this young woman, I'll shoot at her as well.
All right.
Let's see. Oh, nice. I rolled a 19 on the die.
Yeah, that's going to hit for sure, man.
Oh, nice. And then I do 5 damage total.
All right.
Wait, Dex doesn't add damage, does it?
No, just to hit.
Okay, so 5 damage total.
Be straight D6 damage, yes. Yeah, and your shot goes into her, and as your shot hits her, she changes from this beautiful middle-aged woman to what was described to Fenric earlier, and you see this old hag crone looking at you now. May, you're up next.
Okay, so you can tell me if this is going to be more than one round, but this is what I want to do. I'm going to take my pistol, which is in my hand, and I'm going to toss it to Fenric. Since there's only one shot in a pistol, right? So I know he can't shoot again. So I toss him.
Let me stop you, because you would know this, because Fenric actually carries 2 pistols, so you would know that he has a backup on him, just in case you wanted to do something else.
Okay, well then I don't throw my pistol, but I still do the following. I run towards where the I guess shoving it in my belt. I run towards the girl, and I'm pulling out my holy water. What I want to do is get to her, put my holy symbol, which I have in my hand, across her chest, and start to pour holy water like on her forehead, and say prayers.
Yeah, you can actually get to her and get your deal out as you start to purr. Will be the next round, though.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Sounds good.
In a very
what about Sir James? What would you like to do?
Is May in melee now because she ran up to her?
May has run up to the young lady on that's laying on this table, but of course this hag crone, beautiful woman is standing here within 5 foot of all of them. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he raises up his cane and points it straight at that hag and says, "Well, I have a little surprise for you." And then, boom! 19 on the die. So
that will hit, but roll me a D10 first. Make sure, let me know if you get a 1.
Cool.
That's good, right? So it'd be D6 plus 1 damage.
6 plus 1. 7.
Wow, you got max damage? Okay.
Yep.
Great. Your hit goes into this beautiful young middle-aged woman that you just shot. But now she looks at you and you see the old crone-looking hag face as she looks towards you. And you see some more spit and even mixed up blood that is running down her mouth as you 3 have made contact good with her. But what happens next is it is their turn, or they're fixing to be their turn. You see, appearing at the edge, just past this table, you see these 5 black figures come out of the edge of the woods. They are almost as beautiful, at least to her, as the White Wolf was to Jennifer. As you see these 5 black wolves come out, and they have these red, piercing eyes as one comes towards each of you. May, with you actually being at the table there, the one that's coming towards you is going to reach you this time.
Okay.
Whew, 18 on die is going to hit. Oh, man. You will take 5 points of damage as this wolf with the red eyes just jumps and lunges into you and takes a bite out of you, May.
Ouch.
The other wolves start to run towards the other 4 of you. They will make it to you this round. The hag crone lady, she looks over towards you, May, and she goes, "Child, you should have stayed home with your parents, because you will never see them again." Make me a saving throw, May.
Okay. Oh, 13. So 15, so that makes it.
Yeah, for just a moment, you start shaking and having these chills of some terrible nightmare, but you're able to shake it off. Klaus, we come up to you now. All right. Roll me a D10 first. Make sure you don't get a 1.
Yep. Oh, well, there you go. That's a miss.
Oh no, are you serious?
Nice.
Oh, well, let me roll and see what happens here. You pull your pistol, and it just kind of like a click. Nothing happens right now. You're not sure what happened. It was a dud for right now.
Okay.
We go to you, Fenric.
Fenric's got his pistol, and he shoves it at his hip, moves his...
1.
Ooh, nice.
Cool, okay.
3 for me this time.
I got a 4 this time.
Crystal, you got a 4 too?
A D12 real quick. Oh, there it is. I got a 1 as well.
A 1, okay. What about you, Mike?
8 again.
8 again, okay. Sir James, you and Jennifer can go. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay, I'll go. Sir James pulls out his other pistol, aims it at the... can he take an action and attack at the same time?
I mean, what do you want to do besides shoot from where you're at? I mean,
I want to go after the girl. He's going to actually run after May and said, try to yank her out of the way from the wolf.
yeah, I mean, you could actually run up there.
There was a
yes.
wolf that was attacking her, right?
Yeah, but there's also a wolf on top of you.
Oh, okay. Well, he's gonna try to just shoot that witch then, but he's gonna do his best to move his way right next to May so that the wolf could attack him instead of the girl.
Yeah, and also the wolf that you're running past is going to get a bonus to attack you also if you do that. But I mean, you can do that.
Yeah, he's gonna try that.
All right, sounds good. You can move up to May and shoot the wolf. It's on her. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, he's gonna say, "Hang on, May," and he's gonna go and rolls 1.
Oh. Well, let me tell you what's going to happen then. You lose your next turn or next round. You won't be able to do anything at all.
Yes.
Tell me what happens, Jennifer, as you see this going on. What is Jennifer going to do?
How far away is the wolf that was running towards her?
It's running towards you. It's on top of you. I mean, it's fixing to try to lunge into you.
Okay, cool. She'll drop her gun, and she pulls her silver dagger from her boot, and she just kind of ducks down and lunges into this wolf before it can lunge into her. I rolled a 15 on the die.
Yeah, it hits.
And it does 1d6 minus 1, so she does 1 damage to it.
You don't even see it yelp out or anything as you slide your dagger into it at all. It just has these malevolent red eyes. It's looking straight towards you and fixing to chomp down on you.
And that is a silver dagger. I don't know if it makes any difference, but...
Yep, I got you. May, what are you going to do?
Quick interruption.
Sure.
Because he was trying to shoot with his pistol, do I get to roll 1d10?
Nah, since you rolled a 1 on your to hit, no, that just takes place of what.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty clear to me that having my holy symbol is not stopping this wolf from attacking me. So at that thought process, I'm just going to pull my pistol out, and since I'm so close to the hag and attack her, I already rolled my rolls. I get a 15 on the 2 hit, assuming that it hits.
Yeah, that hits.
I get a 6 on my D10, so that's fine. But I also rolled 6 on my D6.
All right, so 6 damage to her. Okay.
Yeah, that's 8 points of damage because she's a fae, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So I pull my, and it's a silver bullet because we got it from one thing, and I say to her, "My parents died a long time ago," and I shoot her.
Yeah, she's not looking good at all as you see more of this stuff running down her front of her dress. And when she turns to look at you, the face has even got worse looking and all that. I mean, it's just horrible, hideous looking. All right, Fenric.
All right. I
Deal. She passed her saving throw, but she'll get a penalty if she does a melee.
okay. So she
She's standing there with this dagger, your dagger, hanging out of her arm right now.
does
We jump up to her now. She looks around, and you see May. You're staying closest, May. You and Sir James. You see the look of almost becoming a fear on her face as she's looking back and forth at everyone. But she looks towards you, Sir James. And I need you to make me a saving throw.
4. So he fails miserably.
All right, make me another saving throw.
17. This time he makes it.
You're fine on your corruption, but the first one that you failed is she looks at you and you're starting to see this hideous face of it just turning into all this mass of just ugliness. Describe for me what kind of nightmare you're going through that's going to cost you your next round.
He sees the face of his granddaughter, and then all of a sudden it's turning into this puddle of black man. It makes him vomit.
Perfect. The wolves are all standing there. The one will start with you. It's on you, May. Of course, it lunges again at you with a 17 on the die, and it will do 3 points of damage this time, May. The one that you run by, Sir James, when you went up to help May, it lunged at you, but it actually misses you as it runs by. The wolf on you, Jennifer. Cool. Let's see what happens. It is Jennifer. And it misses you and jumps over and falls off into the ground and pretty much goes prone. It can't do anything right now. Fenric, the wolf on you. Misses bad. The wolf on you, Klaus, as it lunges and hits you with a 19 on the die. You'll take 3 points of damage, Klaus, as the wolf jumps in and bites you.
Okey-doke.
And speaking of that, roll me a D4 now, as you're holding your pistol that didn't went off just a minute ago. Klaus.
D4?
Yep.
That is a 2.
Your pistol, it's maybe like the wolf when it jumped on your arm, and you're holding your pistol out. Phew, the shot goes off right now, and it goes straight towards you, May. Ooh, that's not good at all. That's a nat 20.
Now roll it.
All right, let me.
Roll D20 to see how much this kills me. 12.
12. That is going to hit you in the lower leg, and you will fall straight to the ground. And you will also take an extra 2 points of damage as that shot goes straight into one of your lower legs.
Okay. So
we're up next to the next round. Yang, you are out of this round being completely terrorized and fear at this nightmare, but everyone else can act.
Ooh, 1.
All right.
I'm on the ground, but I rolled a 1.
9.
What about you, Mike?
9.
9 also, okay. And Alex, you got a 1 or is that a 3?
No, I got a 3. I typed a 1 when Daniel said.
You can have a +2 to your AC if you want to do that.
Yeah, and the witch is at the other end of the table, right? So I want to roll.
Exactly.
I want to roll under the table to get myself cover from the wolves, and then pull up my dagger and stab the witch in her kneecap if I can.
All right.
That's my plan. All right, so I'm kneecapping her. 11 plus 2 is 13.
Yeah, 13 will hit.
Okay, good. And a dagger does a d6 -1. Oh, I rolled a 6.
So 8. That'll be 5 plus 2, 7.
7, yeah. Oh, that's right, +2. Yeah, so 71 with the dagger into her kneecap.
As you do so into her kneecap, she falls to the ground herself. She's looking you straight in the eye at this point, May.
Oh, shit.
And she goes, "You could have joined me. You would have made a fine little witch yourself, since you like stabbing people so much." And at this point, this blackish, reddish blood just spurts out of her mouth. Make me a saving throw.
Oh, God, and I've been really lucky on the save so far. Luck runs out eventually. Yep, I got a 3 that time. Okay.
This liquid and stuff just sprays blood and stuff, just sprays all across you as she falls prone to the ground and she's not moving.
Oh, God. Do I take damage or anything?
No HP damage, but this stuff is just, maybe covered part of your face, your shirt, whatever you want it to do.
Okay, so I mean, it's probably not my turn right now, but as soon as my turn next, I'm going to pour holy water on myself to try to cleanse it.
Fenric, what do you want to do?
The wolves didn't disappear or anything, right?
The wolves, you see the but no, the wolves are still there.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna grab
whatever she is, or could be around in front of you, May. She's not moving. You hear no breath coming from her. You see all the wolves turn and look away from you that are facing the wolves. Jennifer, you look on the edge of the wood line. You see this beautiful white wolf, and you hear a cat. But you see this beautiful white wolf that's standing there along the edge of the wood line. And you see in its eyes a look of domination, a look of being the alpha, the power, the boss, but not anything directed towards you. You see these black wolves that are standing there. They start slinking down and cowering down and getting lower to the ground as they start making their way off to this white wolf. As they do, Jennifer, you see their fur start changing from black to maybe a grayish color at first, then getting lighter and lighter and lighter as they turn solid white themselves. The rest of the party sees the wolves, the black wolves that attacked them. They never see the white wolf that is standing there alone at first. The party sees the 5 wolves prance off into the woods themselves, still black. Jennifer, you see 6 white wolves run off into the woods. And speaking of that, Jennifer, you and Klaus are up next. What would y'all like to do?
Jennifer, for a quick moment, she whispers under her breath, and she thanks the spirits for returning balance to this forest again, as she feels that is what has just happened, that perhaps the evil has been lifted from this place and good has been restored. And having seen her friend May get hit with this stuff earlier, she's going to quickly take a bottle of her own holy water, and she's going to run over to May, and she's going to begin to splash this holy water all over the stuff that hit May.
All right, perfect. Klaus, any action that you'd like to take at this, to seeing what all has happened, transpired?
Just reloading the flintlock.
All right. As all of this goes on, and you all see the black wolves run off into the woods, and you see the witch there, no one has paid attention to the young lady laying on the table in the middle of pangs of childbirth. She begins to rise up, and she goes, "Please, water. I need water." And notice as all 5 of you hear her voice, her quaint, tiny voice coming from this beautiful young lady of 19. You all see that the enlarged belly from the pregnancy is not there anymore. You see that her belly and stomach area is just flat again. She starts to get up from the table and slips off and holds onto it. And she just looks at all of you and she goes, "Who are you? How did I get here?"
You were entranced.
A pretty little one.
So I now have her book. I will pull it out and look at the page. I'm gonna walk over to her and pull out
The attack that May did on that witch, and he also witnessed the attack, the shot that nearly killed her. He goes over there and applies first aid and tries to heal her. I guess we can do 1d6.
Yeah, you can roll the 1d6 of your binding May's wounds.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, and he heals her for 1 point.
Nice.
One is better than none.
Yeah. I mean,
Save the day, Lassie. There was quite a stabbing that you delivered to that evil witch.
yeah, she needed to die. She was a corruption to the land and all who are on it. I'm cleaning this muck off of me, also with the holy water, and I guess once I'm done doing that, I'm going to try to bandage myself as well, because I'm pretty hurt, actually.
All right.
I got a 5. So I'm actually back.
All right.
I'm back to full health. Feeling very vibrant, as much as a little gothy teenage girl can be. I kind of just want to go home now. I tell the group.
Jennifer's going to say, maybe we should take the head off the witch.
Oh, is the witch still there? I thought she melted or something.
Yeah, I for some reason I thought she melted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that we got to burn her on her.
The witch's body is still laying there.
Oh, we'll put her on the table and burn her then, yeah.
Yeah, that we got to burn her on her table. Burn the table too.
Yeah.
It wasn't real. It wasn't real if it didn't get born.
Gives her a pat on the back.
It wasn't pregnancy, it was a curse, and the curse has been lifted, so there is no pregnancy.
She's kind of trying to get into the spirit world, and she wants to see if the connection between this place and the spirit world seems to be balanced again. If everything seems to be as it should be, if she seems to be able to kind of feel it correctly.
Everything seems back into balance and wonderful to you.
Sir James.
Can I? Okay, the mayor himself. Sorry, the last thing I wanted to say. The mayor himself. Am I still feeling deep sadness from him?
Yeah, I mean, you know the man is going through such of a trauma of losing his son and then seeing his son's body that was just ripped from limb to limb almost.
Okay, so she'll suggest they go back to town and go see the mayor now.
A fine idea, but allow me to perform this ritual. James walks over to the corpse, takes out a clove of garlic, stuffs the mouth of the witch with it, and tells the other guys, "You might want to turn away from this for a moment." And he uses his silver knife to decapitate her.
Yep, you do it.
And you know what they say: when a witch dies, she may rise up as a vampire. And he takes out his stake and drives it through her heart and sets the whole thing on fire.
Burn, baby, burn. That's what happens.
Yeah, you got to burn the table too.
Yeah, the whole thing. So I look, when you say the thing about, what they say about witches can come back as vampires, I kind of look at Fenric with what a raised eyebrow. Like, what?
Fenric shakes his head.
Penelope's in.
I say, come on.
She's physically, come on, Eileen. She is physically wore out. I mean, she's mentally stressed too, and She falls under the care of Penelope as she nurses her back to health enough with some herbs and tea. And of course, Penelope thanks you and she gives you any of the herbs or anything that you would want. Jennifer, you go and see the mayor. The brother takes you to see the mayor, and he is so heavily medicated. You don't get anything from him. I mean, the man is very distraught and very. He's just pretty much a vegetable right now.
Before we go see the mayor, is there any chance that I could have asked May for those laxatives?
I was gonna say, if you're gonna go see the mayor,
No use in doing anything with the mayor. It's he's the red herring of the whole story. We're at the end of it. We've been going 4 hours now.
Okay.
So I mean, he's the red herring. I mean, you go and see the mayor, and the man he's just a vegetable from the straw and stuff. As we come to this end of the story, and you 5 return, you all 5 survived, and you return back to the city and restore whatever kind of peace can be restored into the small village of worship. And maybe some people do get back their senses, and maybe even the mayor himself will come back to who he once was with time and, of course, the good doctor's medicine. But start us out, May. You tell me how the story ends for May.
So, the May goes back to the town where she's living in Boston, and continues her schoolwork and training, and lives the life of a 13-year-old girl until one day the call comes out again, and she joins the Knights of Columbus, whatever this is called.
Perfect. Klaus, as you leave the small village of worship, your good friend, the famous werewolf hunter, has been nowhere to this morning with his head hung low. But tell me, Klaus, how does this story end for you?
I will go up to the good brother of Berg. I'll go to Berg, and I'll go, it's never werewolves. I've already killed them all.
Nice.
Perfect. Fenric, how does the story end for Fenric?
well, at first Fenric doesn't leave because he wants to.
Back to her city where her little shop is, and she opens shop again. For a little while she doesn't have clients, she does try to look for signs and giving herself readings and tea readings and tarot card readings and whatnot, trying to figure out if worship is actually going to be okay. Most of the time it seems vague. She doesn't get very many answers, it feels like, and this sort of worries her. But after a while, her obsession with it would pass. Maybe the obsession was really just that corruption she got while there. She still has nightmares of that vision, the cold she felt, the darkness that just felt like it really entered her. But with time, she manages to stop having the nightmares, and she starts taking regular clients again until the day that she has another vision meant for her to go off to do another task for the Twilight.
Perfect. And last, but of course not least, the most eldest member of the party at this time, how does this story end, Sir James, for you?
Sir James is in front of a fireplace, and you see the fire slowly burning. And around him are 5 kindergartners who stare at him with rapt attention. And they stare at him wearing an expression of utter shock as to them. Then you stuff the mouth with the garlic, and you cut off the head, and you drive a stake through the heart, and then you burn it. And that, my children, is how you destroy a vampire. And then he nods and smiles, and the children all start to cry at the same time.
Ah. Ooh, perfect. Great endings there, one and all. But of course now it's my turn. Tell you how this story really ends. The day after you leave, or 2 days, 3 days after you leave the village of worship, we pan back out to the battle scene where the table has been burned and the witch's body has been burned. And we hear some motion along the edge of the wood line. You see this young boy walk out, appears to be about 5 or 6 years of age. He looks completely like a younger Rainer Ainsworth, the young boy who was killed at his age, but the features are almost the same, except in a 5 or 6 year old boy. As he walks out, he's swinging this lantern in his hand. It's daylight, but he's swinging this lantern in his hand, and this golden light is in the lantern itself as he's swinging it and almost singing a tune to himself. As he comes out of the wood line and he sees the burned place of the table, he stops. And in his other hand, he's holding this black, grayish-white doll with this black, stringy hair. He drops it to the ground. You look up to his face as some tears are starting to roll down his face on both sides. He looks towards where the burned table is, and he just goes, "Mother? Where are you?" That will be the end of the adventure known as Tears in Golden Light.